Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Next Level Gamescast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make the show Midori, and I'm joined tonight by the classy douchebag, Mike McLaughlin, although I don't know if he's here quite yet.
I'm here.
He is here.
There he is. There
yes,
it is.
there he
Yes.
is. We also have the tech guru, Agent Vincent.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have the voice, Jersey Tom.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome
evening.
into another show.
Yes, if you enjoyed this show at any point tonight, everybody, please follow us live at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Follow Vince and Tom as well on their respective channels. You can get the links in the chat with !Vince and !Tom. If you're watching or listening to tonight's episode as an archive, subscribe on our YouTube, follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your service of choice. And if you really, really enjoy the show tonight, you can go above and beyond with a Twitch subscription. You could cheer, you could tip. NLG After Show is a possibility tonight, up to 1 hour. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, you can always type in !After Show in the chat. And lastly, NLG is a very interactive talk show. We utilize Discord in a pretty major way. So join us on Discord at discord.gg/Level Up Network and become a part of this community even when the show is not live. I have one more quick reminder. We have 1 week left, only 1 week left in the month of February. That means that the Season 1 February merch, Names of NLG, will expire and go away forever next Sunday at midnight. So you have a little bit of time left if you'd like to pick that piece of merch up. Make sure you don't miss out on anything. But let's go over to our team here. How are we all doing tonight, guys?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Low key. Feeling pretty low key.
Yeah, everyone's chill today. I think.
Very chill. That's fine. That's fine. I'm glad you guys are chilled out.
Very chill Sunday evening.
Up until we get to the tournament, I think then it's gonna get crazy tonight.
I would think that tempers will likely flare. Yes.
Yes. I agree.
Yes. I'm like exhausted this week. I actually started working out again.
Nice.
Because Kristen has been getting really into some new programs, but because of her health right now, she can't do the program herself. So I told her I would do it for her so that I could be her before and after picture. Hopefully, I'm gonna do my best. I'm going to do my best to be a good performer and after picture for her. So nice. I'm feeling like I'm not like eating as much as I normally do. So I'm like trying to keep the energy up right now and deliver a high quality show for y'all tonight. I'm going to do the best I can.
Wow.
See, here I thought Kristen was going to say, Drew, the dad bod's just getting a little bit too much dad.
It is. That's part of it. That was part of it. But I felt like, personally myself, I did feel like I need to get this tightened up, just tightened up a little bit for you guys, for the viewers. I don't want to look at my schlubby body, but
plus before you know it, summer's going to be right around the corner.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah. But Tom, actually, I know that you wanted to take a moment at the start of this show here to address the community, so I want to give you the floor here for a second.
Yeah, guys, I just wanted to say something real quick. As some of you in the community may or may not know or remember, I posted in the Discord a little over a year ago now, probably just about a year ago, that my younger brother Danny had contracted ALS, and it was a very trying time at that point. But the community at that time was very receptive. Sent my family a lot of kind words, and some of you had donated to the fundraiser that I had posted up there, his GoFundMe, that went toward helping to more make his house more handicap accessible for him. Unfortunately, on February 4th, due to some complications, Danny has passed away. It was a shock to a lot of us. I was working in the city in a hotel because we had the snowstorm up here, and I found that out. And it came as a real shock to me, to most of my family. Danny was a big fan of the show. He had subscribed to the channel, and he loved seeing the show. I showed the guys a video that I had of him watching the show at the time, You know, he was frequented my channel because he couldn't play video games at much anymore, so he liked watching other people, liked watching us, like watching Dr. Disrespect and a bunch of other different channels up on Twitch and all elsewhere around. But you know, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And I just, you know, I wanted to thank everybody in the community again for all the kind words that they sent over the past year, and the financial support and all the other, you know, kind things and gestures that all of you have shown me and my family through this. And I would just, I'll just say that, you know, if you have somebody in your life right now who is struggling through any sort of illness, or maybe COVID related or not, give them a hug, call them, let them know that you love them, because, you know, it could all be over just like that. And that's very much exactly what happened with us. I mean, it was just before we blinked and you know, it happened. So, so definitely, support your loved ones. I would say, you know, support ALS research if you can. And once again, to Drew, to Vince, Mike, everybody in the community, thanks again so much for all of your support, and we love you all. And you know, it was hard. It was a hard decision to come and do the show this week. I didn't know if I was going to be up to it. As you guys may know, I haven't really streamed much, but I'm trying to get back. This is going to be my way of getting back into doing the streaming. So hopefully then tomorrow I can, you know, start going back on the channel. But I wanted to make it to tonight because Danny would have wanted me to continue on with the show, to keep entertaining you guys, giving you guys content, and that's what we're going to do tonight. And we're going to have a great show, guys.
For sure. And we're glad that you're here, man. I checked out the fundraising link recently because I know that you had posted there, and I saw outside of our community, obviously, as well, how much support was there, and really an amazing thing. I'm glad that we got to be a part of that support as well. And for you, of course, moving forward, you already know this, but we're so sorry, and we're here for you, and everybody in the community is here for you if you need us. And we're going to try and have an awesome show tonight, and stay happy and positive and energetic, and you know, and it touched me when you sent that link of him watching our show, because I did not know that actually, and I got a little emotional watching that, because you don't even know, like, it's weird, like, you don't even know sometimes who's watching, and you know, a lot of people lurk, and you don't know how you're touching them, touching their lives, and that was really special. I'm glad that you shared that with us, so thank you. But moving on, let's talk about last month. Last month we started our top 64 games of the decade tournament. We also had a great show overall. It's a fantastic show, and that's why, Mike, I need to go to you right now, and I need to ask you, we need the official verdict. How did we perform on last month's episode of Next Level Gamescast?
Well, Andrew, I hate to tell you this, but I'm still untarnished. Yet again, I remain beautiful in the splendor that is perfection. And due to my presence on this show, we have gone yet another week without error. So you are all welcome for that.
How many episodes is that, Mike?
That is 3. So you know, big numbers there in the single digits. Well,
we gotta keep in mind that we only do this once a month, so it's gonna be a pretty long time, like almost a full year before we get to the double digits.
That's what I'm saying, man. We're untouchable. There's just nothing that can even come close. The just absolute regality that is Next Level Gamescast, and their commitment to factual information.
Yeah. At this point, like, I don't even care if nobody ever takes part in this topic. We're just gonna keep doing this every single month, and it's gonna just continue to affirm how amazing we are.
We will be known as the most locked in, plugged in podcast in the entire gaming space.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely no fake.
It's only a matter of time, guys. People are gonna find out about this show, and they're gonna be like, wow, these guys, they really know their stuff.
Exactly.
You know? That's what's gonna happen.
It's gonna take us to the top.
Yeah, but everybody, please. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes. No, I was just going to say, if there ever is a second where you question our infalitude, please try your best at calling us out on our Discord in the what do we call it now? Let's just call it
hashtag fake fans.
Hashtag fake. No, but yeah, but it doesn't. We're not fake fans. We're obviously proving that wrong.
Well,
and,
that's their job.
nothing...
They got to prove us as fake fans.
Exactly, but they're not. So therefore, we're not fake fans. We are ultimate fans. But you can go on our Discord and call us out if we ever think that we fudge anything up, and we'll tell you you're wrong.
And we'll even give you seasonal points if you're right.
There you go.
There you go.
Incentive to pay attention.
I might have to start upgrading that value, because clearly it's hard to stump us and to call us out. So I might need to make that something like a 500 seasonal point bounty to find something that we've gotten wrong in these episodes. Guys, we'll see what happens. But moving on from that, I'm really, really excited for this next segment, because this month on NLG's Got Game, which is our segment to allow you to again try to stump us with mini games and trivia. This month, They Call Me Denny has created Jeopardy for Next Level Gamescast. Guys, this is going to be so much fun. We're using a service called Factal. And Mike, you can go in our Discord. I think you're the only one that's not in there yet. I'll have to, you have
I'm
not
trying to get
yet.
in. It's saying it's not letting me.
If you go to playfactal.com/join.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me. I might have to, maybe because it took so long. Let me reset it for you guys, and I'll put the link. I guess I'll have to open up the Discord real quick. But the other thing that I'm going to do right now, while you guys are waiting for this, is I'm going to start a bet in the chat. Well, really, it's an opening for you guys to bet. So I am the host of Jeopardy tonight. Mike, Vince, and Tom are going to be the ones playing. There's up to 25 questions on the Jeopardy board. And we might get through all those. We'll have to wait and see. And there's even a final Jeopardy. There's even a daily double, right? Daily double. There's all that stuff. It's got it all. But you guys are going to be able to wager from 100 to 1,000 SP right now on who you think is going to win this tonight. Mike, Vince, or Tom. So you will have 1 minute to do this. In the chat, type in !bet space the number of the contestant. 0 for Mike, 1 for Vince, 2 for Tom. And then after that, the number of SP that you would like to wager up to 1,000. So there it is. It just started up in the chat. You have 1 minute. Please, everybody, get your bets in there. Minimum 100. All right, so let me start up a new Factal here for you guys. Hopefully this works for you, Mike. We got 3 teams we're going to do. Buzzer mode is on, just so you guys know. We're going to be doing buzzer mode. So don't just shout it out. Do not shout it out. You have to buzz in. Okay, so I have the code here for you guys. I'm going to put it into the Discord chat.
Please do.
Okay.
I don't want anybody else to see this. Okay. Where is it at? There it is.
Secrets.
Secret room.
There you go. Just posted it on the Discord. I'm going to keep an eye and see if it actually works. On Discord now.
That's so weird.
2 out of 3. Oh, please don't tell me you can't join, Mike.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to try something else. Maybe it just doesn't like Chrome.
Potentially doesn't like Chrome.
I'm using Chrome.
I am using Firefox.
Wow.
You can even do it on your phone too, Mike, if you want to try doing it on your phone.
All right, I might do that in a second. Let's see.
All right, did anybody bet? Yes, we got to. Ooh, Dirac with 1,000, Trish with 200, and Thunder's Quiet with 500.
Oh.
Nice.
Ooh, do I get to pick a? Oh, I want.
Yes, you get to pick your. Well, you can be whatever you want. I put the pictures in there for you guys. All right, are we ready for this?
I guess.
I am ready.
I have so much pressure on me now.
Yes, you should. This is going to be intense. This is going to be really intense. All right, so let me put this full screen. I'm going to make it so everybody in the chat can see it all. All right. Full browser. It captured. Awesome. All right, begin game. And welcome to Jeopardy! Tonight we have 5 categories: consoles, video games, heroes and villains. I feel like those are all self-explanatory. Victories and failures, which is about, a lot of times those sound effects or game over tunes, things like of that nature that might go along with that. And finally, the category of blurred box art, which will be an image of a very blurred box art, and then you will have to tell me what game it is. All right. So I guess, do we flip a coin for this? How's it go on Jeopardy? Who goes first? How does that work? I guess Mike is the one in the bottom left, so I guess technically he goes first.
We'll let Mike go first.
Mike, you are first. What are you going to go with here?
I'm stating 2 for the question. I don't know.
No, you have to choose the. You can
choose the category. It's
choose
like
the category and the number. And have you ever seen Jeopardy, man?
I don't see anything. There's nothing on my screen, fellas.
Are you watching the stream?
No.
You should
that would
turn on
help.
the stream.
I'm guessing since you're on your phone, it doesn't allow you to see. I'm guessing you're on your phone. Way to screw us all up, Mike.
But your choices, Mike, are consoles, video games, heroes and villains, victories and failures, or blurred box art. I wouldn't do blurred box art
for 500.
Oh, he's going all the way. Blurred box art for 500. And there you go, guys. Vince has buzzed in. Vince.
What is Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, it is Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts. All right, Vince, you are up.
I have to go back and forth between browsers.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. It doesn't show the box art on. It doesn't show the questions on desktop. So I was using. Okay, it's there for you on the stream. Let's do blurred box for 200.
And there you have it, Tom.
Shoot.
Oh boy.
What is Sonic the Hedgehog? Got it.
Anybody else?
Nope.
No, nobody.
No.
Okay, the answer is Mega Man. Come on, it's just an iconic, absolutely iconic box art there.
It is, but that was not what I would.
That was rough.
Come on, you guys. Come on.
That's bad on me.
Moving on. I don't know who goes next, actually.
It would be Vince. It stays with Vince.
It stays with Vince. Vince.
Me? Okay. Let's change it up. Let's go to heroes and villains for 300.
This classic LucasArts villain terrorized Guybrush Threepwood in the Secret of Monkey Island series. Tom.
Who is the ghost pirate LeChuck?
Yes. Tom, you are up.
Okay, we're going to go back to blurred box art for 400.
And Mike.
Halo.
Yes, it is Halo. Mike, you're up.
All right. Let's switch things up for a bit when stream catches up. Let me see. We're going to go with victories and failures for 400.
He is on fire! This video game provides you with an increased accuracy and unlimited turbo after 3 successful shots from the same player. Tom.
What is NBA Jam?
That is correct. Tom, you're up.
Jesus.
Okay. We're not going to go with blurred box art here because that's my Achilles heel. We will go with... I'm waiting for the categories to come back up. Okay, here we go. I will go with consoles for 400.
The Xbox was the first console offered by an American company after this system stopped production in 1996. Mike.
Sega.
No. Incorrect.
What?
Anybody else?
Oh, god damn it.
The system stopped production in 1996.
You guys are out of time, I believe.
The Jaguar.
The answer is the Atari Jaguar.
God damn it.
I was right there.
As soon as I... God damn it.
I was right there.
I think it stays with Mike since nobody got it.
All right. Give me 1 second. Let's do video games for 500.
This studio is behind 2015's The Order 1886. Mike.
No. Sony Santa Monica. No.
Wrong.
God.
Vince.
Ready at Dawn. What is Ready at Dawn? Sorry.
That is correct. I will allow it. And Vince, up to $1,000. Vince, you're up.
Let's do video games for what's left over. I'm sorry, wait for the stream. Let's do 400.
400. The Xbox 360 exclusive featured SCU agent Ethan Thomas and was a first-person survival horror game with a detective spin. Mike.
Silent Hill.
Incorrect.
What?
Vince.
What is condemned criminal origins?
That is correct.
God, I always mix them up.
Ah, man, I can't.
Vince.
Condemned.
I literally always mix them up every single time I'm talking about.
And Vince thought he wouldn't do well. Vince is killing it. Go ahead, Vince.
For now. Let's go back to blurred box art for 300.
Yeah, come on, Vince. You better. Go ahead, Vince.
What is Metal Gear Solid 2?
That is correct.
Damn, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, I like that.
And Vince, you're up again.
Jeez. You know, let's get rid of
How was
blurred
King
box
Punch
art.
500? That one was.
Why do we this one here?
Really? That's surprising to me. I put so much pixelation on that one. Blurred box art for 100. Mike.
Doom.
Yes.
There it is.
Mike, you are up.
All right, give me video games for how much we have left is open.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Let's just do 300.
The Daily Double! In this classic video game, contestants were placed upon ostriches to do battle. Tom.
What? Oh shoot! I just blanked. What is Joust?
Yes! Yeah. Oh, crap. It took it away. I don't know why it did. It went to 0 quicker. So wait, what were you at previously to that? You got that right.
I was at 500.
You were at 500. This was a 300. So you are at 1100 now. Because that was a 300 times 2.
Yeah,
Big win there for Tom.
That almost just got me real quick because I was like, I had it, I lost it immediately.
All right. Joust is correct.
Yeah, let's see these.
Tom,
categories.
you are on to the next one here.
Okay. Still waiting on the categories to show up. I should have written these down. All right, we're going to go with heroes and villains for 500.
The antagonist, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, was the central villain of Rockstar's critically acclaimed Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
I do not remember his name
If
at
Denny wrote this, he knows that I should know this.
Oh, I know who this is, and I can't think of the name.
Out of time. It is Frank Tenpenny.
Yes.
Frank Tenpenny.
Tenpenny Towers.
Yes. Tom, you can go again.
All right, heroes and villains for 4.
Brea is the hero of this horror franchise. Aya, I'm not sure how you say it. Aya Brea?
Is the hero of this horror franchise?
Nobody posts in the chat.
Oh my god. How do I not? This is bad for me because I should know this.
Yeah, I feel like one of you guys should know this. But it is Parasite Eve.
I was going to say that, but I didn't. But I'm second guessing myself.
All right, Tom, you're up again.
God. All right. We're going to go with. I figured when I had the Ghost Pirate LeChuck, I would have been fine. Let's go with victories and failures for 5.
Fate has no forgiveness for those who dare stand against it. In this Squaresoft RPG, here is the game over music.
Oh, I think I got to play that for myself here.
Yep. Nobody. It is Chrono Cross.
God damn it, I bumped in.
I've never
God
played
damn it.
them. I've never played.
I was
so.
I was like, I know this isn't Chrono Trigger.
Off to a bad streak here of losses. Tom, you're up again.
All right. Yeah. Sometimes you got to know when to fold them. All right. We're gonna go with victories and failures for 3.
Each Final Fantasy has its own version of the victory fanfare. This numbered entry in the franchise contains this version. Tom.
What is Final Fantasy VII?
No. Vince.
What is Final Fantasy X-2?
No.
No.
Mike.
What is Final Fantasy 9?
No. Final Fantasy VIII, you guys. Come on. Come on. Final Fantasy VIII.
I should have known the greatest love story of our time.
Yes. Tom, you're up again.
Okay. Let's go consoles for 5.
Wow, we're just...
This video game console was the first to have a camera peripheral for online gaming. Mike.
The Sega Dreamcast?
That is correct.
There you go, buddy.
He is right.
Go ahead, Mike.
Categories. What we have left open? Wow, like nothing. Let's do consoles for 300.
This was Nintendo's first console to use optical discs. Mike.
Project Dolphin, aka the GameCube.
Yes, that is correct. Mike, again.
All right, I think we have no more blurred box art, correct?
Nope, that is none left. We got 1 and 2 for consoles, video games, heroes and villains, and victories and failures.
Let's do 2 for victories and failures.
The upcoming Game Over tune belongs to this classic puzzle game. Can hear you guys playing it. Nobody? Tom.
What is Qbert?
No.
Ah! You're gonna take a shot.
Hold on.
Valiant effort. It is. Come on, guys. It's Tetris. Come on, guys.
Ah.
Moving on. I think who was up? Was it Tom?
It was,
It was Mike.
still me.
Mike, you're still up.
So let's do heroes and villains for 200.
This Star Wars anti-hero was an apprentice of Darth Vader and was featured heavily in 2 titles. Mike.
Oh, shit. Cal. No. Oh, God. What's his name? God damn it.
Sorry, Mike.
Yep.
Tom.
Who is Starkiller?
That is
Thank
correct.
you. What's his actual name?
Galen Marek is
Galen
also
Marek.
acceptable. Tom, you're up.
Okay, we're gonna go with what do we have now? Consoles for 2? Is that available?
Yes, you can do it. And this PlayStation handheld launched in direct competition with the Nintendo 3DS and was PlayStation's 3rd handheld device. Mike.
The PlayStation Vita.
That is correct. Almost getting it back to positive. Mike, you're up.
All right. Let me get, I guess, do video games for 200.
This PlayStation Classic required users to put their controller in the second port in order to defeat a certain boss. Mike.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
No.
No?
Tom.
Metal
What are
Gear
you
Solid
talking about?
1.
That is correct. It is the first Metal Gear Solid. I'm sorry, Mike.
That's the Psycho Mantis fight, my man.
Right.
Psycho Mantis. Metal Gear
And
Solid
that's in
1.
1.
1. You said 2,
Oh.
Mike.
He's on
Oh.
Shadow Moses.
Yes. Tom, you're up.
Okay. Waiting on the.
This is tight. This is
the
real tight.
categories again. Thank God for Double Jeopardy. Or Final Jeopardy rather.
Final Jeopardy is going to matter
we'll
for
go
Vince
with
and Tom.
Heroes and Villains for 1.
This whip-wielding vampire hunter took on Dracula in the classic Castlevania game on the NES. Sorry, Tom.
Who is Simon Belmont?
That is correct. Tom, again.
Let's go Consoles 1.
This was Sega's 3rd console right after the Master System, and it launched one of their best-selling games, Sonic the Hedgehog. Mike.
Sega Genesis.
That's correct. Mike, you're up.
There's only 1 left, right?
There's
No,
video
there's
games
2.
and victories and failures.
Video games for 1.
The Nintendo 64 expansion pack debuted in America in 1999, I assume is what that meant. Bundled with this video game. Tom.
What is Star Wars Rogue Squadron?
That is incorrect. Vince.
Oh no,
What
you're
is-
right.
What is Donkey Kong 64?
That is correct. It is Donkey Kong 64.
Yes.
And victories and
Right.
failures for Vince. You will hear the following tune of success throughout this long-running RPG series. Vince.
What is
No.
Pokemon?
That is correct. Vince with a pretty commanding lead right now, $1,600. Tom with 1,000. Mike with negative 400.
I'm feeling pretty confident about I'm going to win, guys.
Can you even take part in Final Jeopardy with that? I don't even know that you can. All right.
You're playing for charity. Screw them.
All right, Final Jeopardy works similarly to Real Jeopardy. You guys will be able to put a wager in once I click continue here. Go ahead. Put in your wagers.
Well,
Everybody's got their wagers in, I think it looks like, right?
yes.
Okay. This PC game created by Rand Miller was the top-selling computer game until its title was overtaken by The Sims. Do not say it out loud. Put it in to the text box that you have. All right, looks like we got Tom. Tom is in.
I don't know.
Mike is in. And Vince is in.
I think I know. I'm like 85% sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm wrong.
So Mike answered with Leisure Suit Larry Magnum Cum Laude. He wagered 0. That is incorrect.
Nice.
Vince wagered 600. He said Sid Meier's Pirates. That is incorrect.
That's what I figured.
Down to 1,000.
So Brad Miller's game created by Sid Meier.
Guys, I told you, I don't know what's going on with the old stuff.
All right, and Tom wagered 1,000, but he put Age of Empires. Nobody got it right. The answer was Myst, you guys. Come on, Myst.
Yes. Oh my god.
That was the best-selling game.
Best-selling
Yeah.
game up until The Sims, yeah.
Wow.
And I did know that. That was one of those
Hey,
ones
did I
I
win?
knew.
You won. Totally won.
The winner is Team Vince.
That doesn't
Way
look
to
like
go, Vince.
There we go. At least
Way
it's
to
something
go.
right once.
And let's see, did anybody bet on Vince? Everybody bet on Vince. That's impressive.
That's
Way to
pressure cleared
go.
now. Ooh.
Betting
Everybody here
winner
knows.
won. There you have it. Everyone that bet on Vince has been rewarded. The Rock gets 2,000 SP. Trish gets 400. Thunder's Quiet gets 1,000. Way to go, you guys. That was a lot of fun. That was really a lot of fun. Let me show the scores real quick here. Vince, after the Final Jeopardy, went down to 1,000. Tom wagered it all down to 0. And Mike never had anything to wager, so he stayed at negative 400.
It wouldn't let me even put anything in. I put 20,000. It didn't let me do it.
That's not the way this works, Mike. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so
Super
much
proud
to
of
Denny.
I'm so super proud of that Kingdom Hearts box art call out. Like
I'm
instant.
so mad. So I had what's annoying is I kept having to go back and forth at the beginning, and I couldn't go
Yeah.
back to the other browser. So I'm like literally like going back and forth and clicking to watch on his fucking screen.
That was cool. I honestly wouldn't
it.
mind doing that again.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah.
I feel like I could come back every couple months and I would be totally okay with that. Let me put the
Yeah,
back
it'd be
up
cool
here.
doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was fun. Moving on. Let's get into what we've been playing this month. I'm actually going to skip over myself to start because I'm tired of speaking. Let's go over to Mike first. Mike, what have you been playing? this month?
So I've been playing a lot of random stuff, honestly,
Mhm.
but the one that really sticks out to me that people that are in the Discord will see me talk about with rave reviews is Valheim, the hit sensation to kind of take Steam over and kind of control the conversation in a lot of ways. Man, this game is just something really special. I was lucky enough to watch a streamer that I do who had got a notification of it early. So I was like in the beginning when it was relatively new, and then all of a sudden a couple days in, it was like, oh, we hit 1 million people, and now it's I think at like 3 million or more.
Yep.
Man, this game is just it has the potential to be the next Minecraft in a way, but I mean that's what some people are saying. I see it as like the next Ark. It is so cool. You basically get dropped in with nothing. It's a survival game just like any of the other ones. You get dropped in with nothing, and you just you're this Nord Viking like guy. You pick kind of very basic character creator, but this crow who's basically a crow of Odin is kind of your guide, and it's like, okay, well you have to go and do this, and so you're supposed to build your gather stuff and build a base, and then eventually work your way up to fighting this world boss. And as of right now, there's only 7 in there. But man, this game has some really deep, really cool mechanics. And I'm usually one to criticize the game for its lack of art, polish and stuff like that in terms of art. But I don't care. This game has some real deep beauty to it when it shines, and some really jagged mess of artwork that can really throw you off a little bit. But
Keep in
it's
mind,
fine.
5 people made this game though.
Yeah.
Right, and that's
That
what
is
I'm
the more
saying. I'm
impressive
trying to get
thing.
across. So, like, just to go over the very basics, you gather wood and rock, and you have to build, your shelter and your bed. But your bed has to be close to a campfire. But your campfire can't be inside on the hardwood floor, so it has to be outside. But if you put it on the inside of your building, it has smoke, and you'll get smoke damage. So you have to figure out how to make, build the walls around it to make a chimney, and then you have to have a work table that has to be surrounded. And then eventually you go up, and there's world creatures. Right now it's very basic of like boars and deer. at the very
Creepers,
beginning, and
zombies, spiders.
not even that, yeah, right. But right at the beginning, it's just those two things, and you'll find these. I think I can't remember what they are called. Greymore, I think it is, are the main enemies that you'll see at the beginning. But as you kill things and you do stuff, you remember more memories. I think the whole lore is that you were alive at one point, and this is your second chance at redeeming yourself. But the intricacy, I mean, seeing these people that now have been playing, the one guy I've been watching, he's, I think, put in 150 hours, and he's been playing with a group of people, and they have this like huge fortress, and it has like all these spiked walls, and as you kill the world bosses, more enemies start making themselves more apparent. So their base is constantly getting attacked by trolls every day, so they had to figure out how to build a moat around it. But you'll level up your gear. You'll go from a wooden club to a spear to a broadsword to this magical mace and sword, and it's great. Like if you look up in the sky, it's in Norse mythology. You'll see Odin flying through lightning, and
that's
just
cool.
The intricacy. Like there's portals to teleport you from here to there, and the map is huge, and each map is procedurally generated. So every dungeon is different. Everybody's world map is different. It's one of the most well thought out games for a 5-person team I've ever had the pleasure of joining in on, and it's just something that's been consuming my mindset for weeks
That's
since
awesome.
getting it.
It's one that I definitely wouldn't be opposed to trying out myself at some point, especially if I can pick it up on sale. Although it's like really not that expensive, right? It's only like $20.
It's $20.
It's really not
It's
bad at all.
$20, and I really encourage you to. I would love to even say we could do it for a group stream, or a group play along, because it's really a game that you can play solo, but it really does something special when you play it with friends. So I mean, we're gonna probably start like a community server that's private for all of us.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
nice.
I even found that out with even with Minecraft, like way back in college when Denny and I figured out how to do a side server. Like games like that definitely become a completely different experience when you get to have a group of people. So I would absolutely be up for
The world
doing a tandem
bosses
stream.
have like raid boss mechanics from like MMOs. Like
Right.
so certain they have this attack that happens for this long, and you should really attack from this way, and someone should aggro while the other person attacks from behind with this weapon. They really
So you can go that deep with it. You can actually like have somebody be a tank and a healer and
Yeah,
Okay.
you have like skill points that are very, again, it's very basic, but like as you run around, you'll see your thing like run added 1 point, and the more points it adds, you run faster or for longer, or same thing with jump or building, the quality of your builds gets better. So like I said, the mechanics, I really encourage every single person that has a PC, throw $20 to these guys. It's not that they need it anymore, but this is the type of stuff that you want to support. This is the type of game, this is how you do early access. There has never been a game in early access that I've gotten the pleasure to play. Heck, I played demos, and quote unquote betas of games releasing on consoles from AAA publishers that were less well thought out than this game is.
Nice. Very, very nice. Vince, let's jump over to you here. Finally getting around to Resident Evil 3, huh?
Yeah, and I finished it. Took me about technically around 10 hours to clear it.
Sounds about right.
Is that like 100% or?
No, it wasn't 100%, but I did it on the hardest difficulty I could at the time,
Nice.
I think. Which sucks. There's 45 minutes at the very end where I was stuck in a single room because I didn't have enough ammo because I didn't play the game correctly. And it was really turned me off on the game. And then after that, I was really kind of ticked off on it. I went back and did a standard run and I beat it in 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard is the
And,
major complaint about this game is that it's short. It's real short.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I just don't care for is I just don't think it's a good game. Like as in comparison to Resident Evil 2. It's still like a silver title, don't get me wrong. Its presentation is tight. Some of the voice acting is really great. But yeah, no, it is a odd title. I don't know how you could have made Resident Evil 2 remake the way it was to such a heights to where it was almost a Game of the Year nominee.
I would argue it was. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that was.
It was for me.
Survival horror games don't make.
Absolutely was for me.
Survival horror games don't make nominees, and that's a thing. That was the VGA's nominee in 2019. That's how good Resident Evil 2 was, and this game just did not feel well thought out.
Now, from what I understand, this was a different team than the Resident Evil 2 remake team, right?
Right, I heard about that, and it's like, and that's where I don't want to get too negative. You know me, I don't like to be too negative on dev teams and everything like that. Considering, like, there was the apparent rumor that they were going to try to bundle us all together in one mega package and stuff like that. We have no idea what happened, things like that. Because like the first 45 minutes of the game is actually fantastic. The set piece, the action, all of it, perfect. It's just then like you're playing it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot the zombie 4 times in the face. Oh, they're still not dead. Oh, I'm gonna shoot them again 3 more times. It gets to that point where it's just like, this is not fun. Like, it doesn't like.
Did you enjoy any of the new mechanics? They seemed like a little more action focused. They had like counter attacks. Nope, nothing.
No, because again, on the difficulty that I was playing, it wasn't really a viable thing for me to do, and that's just where I just kind of getting frustrated. I died like around, I think it was 44 times in my first run through, and then like when I did the speed run, I did 6. Like it was just, it just didn't feel cohesive. Like, I feel like I need like one more year in the oven for them to kind of like solidify everything. Like even like that last like finer major counter, it's just weird. Like at that point you're just kind of done with it, and it's just weird. But still,
probably would have smoothed things over a lot too if they released it at a discounted price, maybe 40 instead of 60, considering the amount of content between RE2 remake and RE3 remake is so different. Although 3 remake had the online mode bundled with it.
It did. There was Resident Evil Resistance.
Which is apparently at this point not. If you haven't played it, you're dead. Yeah, because it's got like that really weird Japanese kind of like they reward the people who play their games. Like they have like all the better like I don't know, there's perks in the game. Like there's like that type of stuff. Like there's like that type of mentality for that online mode. So the thing though is like I would still recommend anyone to try it. I do think Carlos and Jill, it's awesome. There's some really great stuff there. It's just, not at $60. I mean, like it's one of those things where like you're just gonna burn through it too fast for it to be, I think, an actual like fun title.
I was planning on waiting to see if maybe around this Shocktober if they have a heavy discount on it. Then
I got it for $19. I got it for $19, and I still felt like it was like, it was like it's rough. That's the thing. So. But anyway.
It's very much in the same way that how original RE3 was when that was released, which I was kind of shocked in the fact that this kind of released in almost a similar fashion, where it seemed like it happened so quick. Like I was not expecting it. Like I saw when they released the original trailer and they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, RE3 is also part of this game." I'm like, "Excuse me?" It just seemed like way too quick for them to turn that around. So I wasn't exactly shocked. I still haven't played it yet because my plan was to hold it off until October. But it seems like 100% like what everybody has said, everything that I've seen from it. It seems like it's just one of those games where they, exactly as you said, Vince, it needed a little bit more time in the oven, and there was really no rush to put it out because it's not like it was bumping up against RE8.
Right. And now we have like that weird kind of like what's going on type. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, supposedly the team that worked on 3 was working on 8, but they pulled him off of it and things like that. Maybe because of the reception on 3, and maybe they weren't up to the challenge. I don't want to get into that too much because, like you said, Vince, I don't want to be too negative on dev teams when I don't really know what happened there. But your opinion doesn't surprise me too much. Tom, let's move on to you because I'm actually really excited to hear your opinions on one of my favorite games of the PS4 generation.
Well, I'll say that I'll probably likely have more to say about it on the next show.
Okay.
Because as you mentioned, we mentioned at the top of the show, some life events happened with me lately. So I have not gotten too much into The Last Guardian. That I did from my first playthrough. I only just have one playthrough, or not playthrough, but my first session with it, where I got through a decent portion of the game. Not too far in. I just got to the point where the dog is finally listening to me, which is nice. Yeah. Like it's listening to me a little bit, like not a whole lot. But generally speaking, it's a beautiful game. I love the narrative of it. I love the story structure, just all the little details and everything. Like it feels like unlike any other game that you could play, especially when I'm coming off of playing, Ghost of Tsushima, doing another playthrough of Resident Evil 2, some of the other games that I've been playing lately, Destruction All Stars, which I got my hands on there briefly, which I'll touch on in a second. It is a completely different type of experience, and it makes you feel something. Yeah. There's a lot of emotion in this game. The closest thing that I could say to this would be like Journey for me. Mm-hmm. And like that kind of thing where it's like relying a lot on being able to tug at your heartstrings by like letting you grow and connect with this creature. I'd say I'm very excited to see where it goes. I'm very excited to see what comes next. As long as I get through this one puzzle that's bothering me. Mm-hmm. But everything else, like the puzzles are good. They're working for me a little bit. Some seem like I'm brute forcing my way through some of it rather than actually like figuring it out.
Okay.
But I think that would be my only minor complaint is that I feel like some of this stuff I just brute forced my way through. I don't think like I actually like used my big gamer brains to figure something out. But because inevitably I ended up for some of the puzzles already in the early on, I overthought them as opposed to just like thinking of the simple solution.
I hear what you're saying, and I feel like I remember that happening a few times myself. One puzzle in particular involves water levels. I don't know if you've gotten to that yet, but when it clicked in my brain on that puzzle and how to achieve it, I had this sort of like, this is amazing. This game is freaking amazing because it was a very simple idea on how to solve the puzzle, but it wasn't simple in my brain because I've never seen another game have a puzzle solution similar to that in that way, utilizing a creature and directing it. I thought it was so neat at the time, and was once again solidifying that relationship that I had with the creature and how we were in this together. Because I think what's kind of cool about the game is you're controlling the boy, but really what you're controlling is Trico, because you're directing him as best you can, and it becomes easier, as you said, as you progress through because he starts to listen to you more. But without him, you can't get anywhere. Like, you are directing him through the boy.
Right. And
I thought it was a neat concept. And it, like you said, it's kind of unlike anything else in gaming except Team Eco games. And that's what's so special about Team Eco games is there's really like not really much else like them. Like specifically like them, the way they control, the way they feel. You can call them clunky if you want, but like they have like a certain atmosphere and control method that is
there's so much
unlike
time that you want to spend in this game where you just want to watch Trico and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Just him playing in the sun, playing in the water, like doing a couple of things, because his movement and everything else is like very well animated. Yes. He doesn't feel jank at all. Like you feel like he's an actual like thing that is like interacting with you. So so they did an awesome job with that. And I just wanted to touch on it because I did get my hands on it this past week. Destruction All Stars. As I said in the chat, in the Discord, it is fine. It is the most fine game I've played this generation. And to be quite honest with you guys, it's a damn good thing that they made that game free, because I would not drop a cent on this game.
Almost nobody would.
Yeah. Well, in about a month, it is going to be paid for.
Yeah.
Because it's not free forever.
If you want to get your chance to play it, download it, and at least then you have it.
Don't even download. Just add it to your library. It's not worth the download.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I like that you don't have to download things anymore. You can just add it into your library.
But I think you give it a shot. You play through the one little story bit that they give you for free. But it's just, I mean, maybe I got to get into it more. Maybe I got to experiment with some of the other heroes. But it's just, man, like that is the most okay game that I get the concept. I get how it works. I'm not very good at it yet. I got to get good, but I can't imagine that I would be spending a whole bunch of time. The fact that they lock the story missions behind currency, like in-game currency, that's weird to me. Like I would figure that you would want to get your audience invested, like, because that's how I got invested in Overwatch. Is I got invested a little bit in the story, and I'm glad that, as we may talk about later, from BlizzCon, what they announced with more story elements in the next Overwatch. I'm surprised that they wouldn't let you get in more with the story elements to get you more interested in these characters and to play as them a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think is my biggest criticism with that. Don't lock your story content behind paying for.
Yeah, that's a bizarre choice for sure.
Yes.
Very bizarre choice. I think I'm going to skip over myself here because we are about 10 minutes behind. I will say real quick, I played Control. It was okay. I liked the combat. Story to me was just like I didn't care whatsoever. I couldn't get into it.
X-Files, did you?
I never really watched X-Files, but this was I don't know, man. This was just a little too reliant on having you read every single thing throughout the environment, and most of it was half of it redacted, and I'm just not into this.
I think
and by about halfway through, I was like, I'm not even reading them anymore. I don't care.
I think part of the issue also is that you streaming it in the way that you do hurts how that game is played.
I don't think so, because I was reading everything. You can see people in the chat when they watch me. I was reading every single thing in that game
when you
for the first like 5 hours.
Else, it makes it like it's like okay, well, we don't want to read, and so you're like okay, well I guess I don't want to read. So
no, that was my vibe. No, I promise you that was my vibe, and everybody in the chat agreed once I started saying it. I was like, well, do you guys mind if I like stop reading this stuff because I'm just not connecting with it. It's just not doing anything for me from a story perspective. I liked certain moments for sure, and I liked Darling. I thought he was a great character. I liked some of the puzzle elements, the hotel stuff. Ashtray Maze was pretty cool, although I think really, really overhyped. And the ending I thought was a disaster. I thought the ending was a complete disaster. Like I said, it was good. Ashtray Maze was cool, but man, was that overhyped. Like it was really just. There was no puzzle to it. I was 100% expecting a puzzle. There's no puzzle.
Time out. Did you listen to the song that plays during that?
Yes, of course.
Or you did? Okay, well then I just think you're crazy. Because
that's all it is then. It's just I agree. Like it's cool. Like a cool song is playing while you're having great combat moments. But everyone built that up to be like this awesome puzzle piece to me. And I was like, there's no puzzle here. There's no maze. There's actually not even a maze. You're just going through it. And I was like, really?
I will say this at this point. That is the one thing that I'm disappointed with the Ashtray Maze is the fact that it's a corridor.
It's not a maze. Yeah.
It's just a corridor that you're going down.
I like the music and the combat throughout the entire game. I thought was really cool. So I liked the combat and the music combined with that in that moment was badass. But man, was that overhyped in my opinion. Anyway, Control I gave like a 6.5. I thought it was fine.
Now that I think is too low.
I think it's too low.
Everybody in the chat all agreed. Everybody in the chat agreed. And the other thing I'm playing right now that I'm really enjoying and I'm excited to talk about next month, so I'll wait for it, is Little Nightmares 2. That is actually a really, really cool game so far. But I think we've heard enough of my crazy opinions. Vince, how about we hear from somebody else?
That's right, everyone. Let's move on here. We're going to go to this episode's segment of How You Reviewing, and we got a couple games to round up here. The very first game we will be checking out here is a gem of a title, a hell of a title, and that is Hitman 3. As of right now, it has an 86 on OpenCritic at 153 critic reviews.
Is this the highest reviewed Hitman ever?
I believe it is, if you count for the fact that's 153 critic reviews.
Right.
It
much
is
more difficult to get that score.
I think Silent Assassin 2 has an 88 on PC, I think, but it only has 13 reviews.
Now, would you say this is, you're a Hitman fan, would you say this is the best Hitman?
This is the best Hitman. This is IO Interactive learning everything from the original Hitman all the way back in the day to the current generation, taking in one of the most hard received titles at Absolution, and still somehow being able to pull that in, pull stuff from Blood Money, and still being able to make this one hell of a title. Yeah. And 3 is definitely their audition card for James Bond. Everything about it, the presentation is slick, the music is amazing, the voice acting is even a touch a step up. It's like, what is going on? This is crazy. How is this game this great? But
makes you wonder if they're on the market.
I wonder. There's been rumors. Yeah. But moving on, let's go to another title, one that had some hype getting drummed into it, but this is from Blooper Team, and this is The Medium. However, it's kind of only sitting at a 75 on OpenCritic, and this is at 138 critic reviews.
That's what I expected. I will say. I saw a lot of hype. I'm with you. I saw a decent amount of hype for this game, and every time I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, guys. I think it's gonna be fine. Don't get me wrong. And 75 definitely is a fine score. It's a good score, but I did not see the hype that a lot of other people were seeing, and this kind of reflects that now. 75.
Yeah, and it's a weird. The music is good, but it has the main person behind the Silent Hill series doing the music as well. So
That's
you
awesome.
kind of expect that.
Yeah, you're gonna do pretty well if you have you bring them aboard.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
sorry if I forget the name, and I apologize. But
And we're going to talk about Blooper later
good.
on. You know, the medium fared pretty well, but if rumors are true, I think they're going to have to step up their game.
They will.
If you know, the medium at a 75, they need to do better with what's rumored.
Yes.
But we got one more game, and it's the one I'm loving right now.
Yes, we are going to move on to the very last game, and the last game here is Little Nightmares 2. Now that currently is sitting at 82 on OpenCritic. I was going to say OpenCritic 82, 82 on OpenCritic, but 132 critic reviews. I have never played Little Nightmares 1, and I probably will not play Little Nightmares 2 for a while. So Drew, just a quick little brief synopsis. Like, do you agree with that score? Do you think it's a little too low? Do you think it's a little too high?
Right now, I'd say that's pretty damn close. And sorry, I put the wrong poll in the chat there, guys. I'll put the right one in a moment. I think that 82 right now is about where I'm falling. It could have easily been up towards the 9s for me. The atmosphere, the puzzles, the connection between the characters, the music, even like everything's really hitting for me, except for that the controls are often very cumbersome and clunky. Like where you're specifically trying to get into ductwork is always a problem. He's just like the character does not want to do what you want him to do. And it'll result in deaths that aren't really deserved. And that's kind of the worst possible thing in a game like this, where it's sort of reliant on deaths, like to learn from and all this. So when you get deaths that aren't deserved, you just kind of get pissed off.
You get frustrated.
You get really frustrated very quickly. All that being said, it's not enough for me to drop it below. Like I probably would give it in the mid 8s right now, like an 8.5. And I hope it sticks around there. It's really a special game. And I think it's a major step up actually from the first game, which I don't know what that scored. Actually,
you know what? I didn't look. I can go look later.
Yeah, out of curiosity, I would be curious to see how that did. But yeah, it's did I put the wrong poll in the chat? I did.
Little Nightmares currently on OpenCritic has a 79 out of. I mean, it's a 79 average based on 133 critic reviews. So it seemed like this was a little bit of a step up.
Yeah. Yep, and that's about right. Like right now, it's not like a major step up because of the control problems I'm having, but otherwise, everything else is better. Everything else is truly better. And I want to put a poll in the chat now once it allows me to, but I'm going to ask you guys, which of those 3 are you most interested in the chats? And now that that's over, we can move on to the next part of how you're reviewing.
Yeah, we're going to move on, and this is going to be this segment's critical cut. And I'm really excited for this game we're going to critically cut, guys, but we're going to give our critical cut on Infamous, the PS3 gem title.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch. We break this down into 3 categories. We go for presentation, gameplay, and impact. So first up is going to be presentation, and this is an odd one because you got to factor in like when this game came out. It was like right when the PS3 was like they were still kind of getting their kind of getting things going on. It's got a little bit of a rough look to it nowadays.
I think it always did, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be a little bit negative on this game in comparison to everybody else because I wasn't in love with Infamous. I actually liked Infamous 2 a lot more than Infamous 1. I think the really successful part of Infamous is the twist in the story at the end. But otherwise, I wasn't that much into the overall plot until that moment. It was sort of just, it was fine. It was your typical superhero fare. And the presentation outside of that, the colors, how muted they were, how sort of drab the environment was and dirty the environment was. It wasn't a world that I really enjoyed being in. And then on top of that, when you have such a generic looking protagonist, it really did not do that well for me from a presentational perspective, especially considering Sly Cooper was so colorful and creative with the cell shading. I would have expected more from Sucker Punch at that time. Still enjoyed the game, as we'll end up saying, but I was disappointed at the time, even then, with the presentation.
This game awoken my love for post-rock, though. I will say that much.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Tom, I can see you wanted to say something.
Yeah, you know what? Presentation-wise, you have to take a look at this game and realize when it came out. I mean, it came out at that specific time where everything was grim dark. with heroes. Like, this is height of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I mean, so I can understand them going with like the color palette and everything that they had. Honestly, the one thing that this game has to me, presentation wise, over any of the other ones, I love the comic book interludes.
Yeah, that was cool. I agree
Those
with
were
that.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Like pushing through the story, those comic book little sections, I wish they had carried those over, because if you don't want to do a full cutscene, I don't mind as long as you give me something else that, like, if you want to give me like a graphic novel or a visual novel-esque, I think that's a completely valid way to go about that, and it worked really well for this. And I wish they had kept that going. And honestly, the interaction, like the voice acting and everything else between Cole and Zeke, like I still loved that interaction between those two guys.
They had a strong relationship. Yeah, it came through for the player as well. I think it really comes to a great head in the second game too. I think it capitalizes on that, what they laid the foundation for in the first game, and I think delivers in the second game, which I think is the better game. But moving on.
Yeah, but moving on, let's go to gameplay. And that is one thing that this game I think did very well. We can argue about presentation, but I think gameplay, I played a lot of this. I was in love with this game's gameplay. May have been simple, may have been whatever, but I was enjoying it. It
felt really great. Yeah, very tight.
It felt great. It felt tight. That was the most surprising thing about it. It's like it didn't feel wonky.
Just throwing like grenade after grenade after grenade while you're holding your hand out. It's just like, it was very satisfying.
There was very much a power fantasy being played there. They actually really nailed really well, especially some of the later powers when you start doing like your brain down the thunder and everything. Oh my god, it's just so much fun. I loved it.
Mike, you were a pretty big Infamous fan, weren't you?
I was. I love this series in general. I'm even an apologist for Second Son. I think that game gets a lot more flack than it deserves. But man, Infamous 1 was just something really unique and different for the time. You had superhero games, but most of them were either fighting games or very limited in scope. Or unfortunately, Superman 64. So having something that actually put you kind of in control of a real original comic book hero and gave you those powers and let you be a part of his origin story, like the powers that you got, like they were saying, like throwing thunder down, or was the tornado? I think the tornado was even in 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty sure it was.
Yeah, like man,
they just upgraded it in 2.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the morality system. Although I think it is a little bit black and white.
Well, here's the thing: is that it was cool because you at the time, again, you thought it was this really awesome, different thing. Looking back on it, super limited in what it gave you. But again, you have to look at this game for when it came out, like Jersey Tom was saying, and for the time, another game did that. I mean, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old game at this point. But man, having to pick between the love of your life and a bus full of kids, and then either way, it doesn't really matter what you choose, you're screwed. It's like, oh my god, like,
that was a great moment. That was when the game really kicked into high gear.
The final half of the game is just, I think, so on point.
It's
so on point.
And the Kessler reveal is still to this day.
It's still one of my favorites.
Yeah, the Kessler reveal is great.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Unfortunately, the morality system, I mean, yeah, there is one other game that was like that, and it was called Knights of the Old Republic, where it didn't make any sense for you to like try to play both sides and see what it would have been like to be like a neutral character or an anti-hero. Instead, like, you had to go all bad or all good, or otherwise you were locked out of all the cool powers.
Now, did Prototype have a morality system? Because that was the other game that came out around.
Prototype did not have morality. Prototype was much more about just how much destruction can you cause?
And this kind of goes into Impact here a little bit, now that we're talking about Prototype, because there were a couple that came after Infamous. As Mike said, before it, there wasn't a lot, but then after Infamous, you started seeing a little bit of those power-centric games.
And you saw people who would throw themselves on a bus for Prototype. In comparison to what Infamous 1 and then in succession 2 gave you, it was nothing even the same. In comparison, there was nothing that matched what Infamous was.
Yeah, and I think Infamous 2, which came out probably about 3 years later, I thought they really stepped up in a major way. I thought the B storyline was great. I thought the morality system was more interesting. They really played with your expectations with the two other heroes. Oh man, I'm trying to remember their names. I want to say one was There was
I
the
can't
ice and
remember
their
either.
fire, and I'm
It's
trying to
been
remember.
a long time.
It's been a long time, but
Wong,
they kind of
Agent Wong.
yeah, and then Nil or what was
Yeah,
it?
Nil.
Nix,
Nix,
and
Nix.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they really played with their expectations there, and gave you a cool little twist at the end, and that final battle and everything that happens with Zeke, especially if you go the dark route. Really emotional stuff with that game. Second Son, as Mike said, definitely I like Second Son. I think the story is probably the weakest of the franchise, definitely the weakest of the franchise. But the combat, you can't argue, is
one of the best
fantastic in
games to
Second
play.
Son.
Yep.
I think the question is is Infamous dead? Like, what's happening?
I mean,
Well, if you saw the end credit scene, he's not dead.
No, in two, you get that lightning strike at the end. Yeah. Do we want more
I hate
Infamous?
2's ending. I hate 2's ending. So,
I don't want
doesn't
Sucker
matter
Punch
to
to
me.
go back to
Hey
Infamous.
Vince,
I'll say that.
go die in a fire.
nah, come on. 2's ending is just too drab, and it was what everyone was doing at the time with all hero-based stories. Let's be real.
No, not everyone was doing it at the time. Again, Infamous comes out.
Infamous
does it, and
1,
then-
I will let you know that, but Infamous 2, that narrative beat at the end is what almost every major AAA title had. It had the feature of the hero giving themselves up and killing themselves, something like that. That was every major title that year when it came out. That was exactly what Infamous 2 did again.
But
So,
again, also there was a reason for it. The difference is that some of these other ones didn't need it, whereas Infamous kind of from the get-go showed you that it needed it. Infamous 1 showed you that Infamous 2 needed that ending.
Okay, that being said, Sucker Punch I think is done with this franchise.
Yeah.
Do we
I hate
think
you.
that PlayStation, if we're on the flies on the wall of PlayStation right now, and somehow we have influence on them, do we think that they should be trying to bring this franchise back, and who gets it?
I mean,
They'll be
I don't
bringing
think-
it back in the next PlayStation All Stars battle.
I would be okay with that. Actually.
Infamous
I want them to
kart
give that a
racing.
second shot. But
Infamous
I
kart
don't know.
racing.
I don't feel like I really need another Infamous game. I do think they should do a remastered collection. Without a doubt, they should do a remastered collection. But I don't think we need another Infamous game myself.
I would honestly prefer just a remake in the same vein as Demon's Souls.
Yeah, that would be cool. And if they
Yeah.
do a sequel, I do think they need to do Delson versus Cole.
Yeah.
And I think Delson should be the villain and Cole should be the hero. I think Delson makes more sense as a villain to me than Cole does, and I think they should definitely do something with that if they ever
No,
decide
they
to bring
could
it back.
just do Delson versus Cole, and then Kessler is the main big bad.
I don't know
then
how you
one
work
of them
that
will
back
go.
in, but yeah.
Then one of them will go down, and then they'll say Martha, and then
Why'd you say that name? Anyway, all right. So
Why do you
let's
say
do it.
Zeke?
I would give Infamous. God, this is a tough one. I'm trying to think of that time. Look, it's a product of its time. I'm trying to think of what would I give it then, and I think because Infamous 2 to me is a gold, I think I want to give Infamous 1 a silver. I'm gonna go silver for Infamous 1. What about you, Mike?
I mean, you bring up a good point with that, right? Because Infamous 2 definitely had its issues to not make it a platinum. So it's a gold, and I think Infamous 2 is the better game.
Yeah.
But for what it did for everything, and considering that not all golds are always the same level of difficulty, I'm going to give it a gold.
Okay. All right. Vince, what about you?
I was actually gonna say give it to Tom. I'm gonna see what Tom says. Tom's been quiet.
All right,
No,
Tom.
I go with I'm very much in Drew's camp. I would think that without having 2 or even Second Son, without having either of those games, I think it would have been elevated to a gold for me. But because of the fact that it is it's a stepping stone to a better game. And I would say gameplay wise, as much as I went on and on about the comic interludes, 2 is the better of the 2 games. So I'd have to keep it as silver.
Okay. And Vince, what
And
about
I
you,
would
man?
I would actually kind of flip that. I'm not as high on 2 as you guys seem to be are. I'm a little bit more for 1. I like 1. There's certain elements of 2 that I like more. So for me, Infamous 1 would get a gold. And if we were doing Infamous 2, I'd actually be giving that a silver. I just think the game's final act doesn't hold up at all, period. So it's just weird. But like, yeah, I loved Infamous 1. Infamous 1, like I said, was like, I jammed out the post-rock to that game at times. I love that soundtrack, everything like that. So, and I sunk so many hours into that game. It was ridiculous. Whereas 2, I beat it in one day, one sitting. and I was done. Never went back.
Okay. Yeah, two, it's funny. Like I actually did really enjoy the final act, and I thought it was emotional and powerful, especially with the Zeke stuff, and that landed for me. So, but
Yeah,
either way,
it
I think
landed
it's
for me.
interesting. Like Infamous is a franchise I usually see as like this really beloved franchise. I never quite was there with everybody else with Infamous, and I'm kind of happy the Sucker Punch moved on from it myself.
I would have loved for them to keep going with it if Second Son, they actually did something more with that.
Yeah.
Like, I really love the idea of having, like, a punk rock, like, graffiti artist main character, but, like, they didn't really do anything with any of that.
Yeah, his story just didn't do anything for me.
His story was just like, fight the system.
Yeah.
And, like, that's it. Like,
it felt like a launch title in that way. It felt a little undercooked. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. That game has some really great polish to it, but like at the same time, it feels like we had to get this out. We had a deadline,
sure.
and we were getting this out, and
and that being said, it's a great launch window title. It definitely was.
Absolutely.
Beautiful game, that's for sure.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
you use that one shot of him like up in the sky and like smiling for the camera, and then like going back down the meteor attack that he had. I mean, that was the shot for PlayStation.
I feel like I've seen that shot a few hundred times.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely one I used a few times in some of my videos. So, yeah, definitely. Anyway, I'll say it. Guys, get on our Discord at discord.gg/levelupnetwork. We have a hashtag how you reviewing channel. This question, or this Infamous submittal was through our Discord, and that's the way it works. You guys can be the ones that determine what we are reviewing on our show here. So do that. Get on our Discord, become a part of this community, even when we are not live. And with that, we are going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're getting into the level update. I feel like we got a lot of great topics this month to talk about. So hold on tight. My Dark Passenger. We will be right back. Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 2 of Next Level Gamescast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show, live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/levelupshow on the third Sunday of every month. Make sure you never miss an episode. Hit that heart button here and turn on notifications so you get alerts whenever we go live with either variety gaming or talk shows. Do the same for Vince and Tom on their respective channels. You can get those links in the chat, of course. And if you're watching or listening to this as an archive, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and of course, become a part of the community even when we are not live on Discord at discord.gg/the-level-up-network. We're now going to move on to our discussion of the month's biggest gaming industry news. It is time for the level update. First up, in the level update this month, I'm going to take the first topic. And it is about that weird thing that happened very early this month where Xbox Live suddenly doubled in price, essentially. Essentially, if you were buying a year of Xbox Live, it doubled in price. So their original post was, going forward, new pricing for 1 month of Xbox Live will be $10.99, 3 months for $29.99, and 6 months for $59.99, or your local market equivalent. You might notice that there's no 1 year option. They just cut out the 1 year option. You could only get 6 months for $60. So if you wanted to get a year, you were spending $120 a year at this moment in time to get Xbox Live. There was a lot of other things surrounding that as well. If you already had things stacked up and whatnot, you could get out of it, or maybe you are somebody that shops for deals. That's kind of another topic, but the base here from Xbox was that they were essentially doubling Xbox Live price. Now, here's their reasoning. I'm going to give you a quote here. Periodically, we assess the value and pricing of our services to reflect changes in regional marketplaces and to continue to invest in the Xbox community. We'll be making price adjustments for Xbox Live Gold in select markets. In many markets, the price of Xbox Live Gold has not changed for years, and in some markets, it hasn't changed for over 10 years. So essentially, it's time, is what they were saying. It's time to raise the price. But it didn't take very long for the internet to blow up and just absolutely crucify them over this. Specifically, I remember Jeff Grubb with VentureBeat put out an article talking about how, okay, so if you are on Xbox now and you want to play Fortnite, a game that does not go outside that free-to-play wall that they've created, at this point in time, and still at this point in time, you have to pay for Xbox Live to get free-to-play titles, unlike PlayStation. So on Xbox, you are spending $120 a year to play Fortnite. On PlayStation, you're not spending anything to play Fortnite. You don't even have to get PS Plus to play Fortnite. That was the big deal here, was that at the least, if you're going to raise the price like this, you got to make some concessions, right? You got to be doing something to smooth this over, and they weren't doing that. Not even a day later, they retracted this. They completely reversed. They not even just quit the price increase. They talked about the free-to-play. So here's what they said. We messed up today, and you were right to let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing. We're turning this moment into an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. For free-to-play games, you will no longer need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play those games on Xbox. We are working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months. It has not happened yet. If you are an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same prices they pay today. And I'll stop there. So very quickly, a role reversal here, which brought up the question of like, did they not see this coming? What was the plan here? How did they not expect a doubling in Xbox Live price not to result in this type of backlash? And it almost made you wonder if they did expect that, and this was just sort of a testing of the grounds, because of course they have a service, a much better service in Game Pass, and increasing the price of Xbox Live would have made that service astronomically better than Xbox Live. You're spending $120 a year on Xbox Live for game, you could do $180 for the Game Pass Ultimate. That includes Xbox Live. So I'm going to start this conversation off by going to you guys and asking, was the point of this price increase originally to improve the perception of value on Game Pass?
No.
No. You don't think so?
It's not about improving the perception, I don't think. I think this was straight up a means of them testing the grounds to see if they could manage to increase their revenue that they can bring in from this service. Especially because when you look at it, I mean, this is a company that's spent $1 billion on trying to acquire other studios. I mean, we're talking like Bethesda and all the other acquisitions.
$7 billion on Bethesda, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, they swung for the fences here. They were like, look, we're gonna get some backlash, but you know, most people, they'll just be like, you know what, it sucks, but you know what, we're still gonna do it because we got to get our fix. But the amount of negative backlash this got, especially when you consider that their main competition, I don't think they're going to move, PlayStation is ever going to move from the idea of, if you have a free-to-play game, you don't need to have PS Plus to play that.
Right. You can't now at this point. It'd be really difficult for them to
really,
have that.
And you definitely can't now, but at the time, I mean, even Sony would have had to have looked at that.
So do you think that it's because they're bleeding a little bit from Game Pass, how much they're putting into it, and waiting for the fruits of that labor? Or maybe it's not happening quite as quickly as they thought it would, so they needed to compensate for that with an increase in Xbox Live. That's your theory?
I think 100% they are operating Game Pass on a loss.
I agree.
I 100% believe that. I think this was a means of revenue generation that they can go to their shareholders at their next earnings meeting and be able to say, "Hey guys, look what we did. We managed to double our revenues from Xbox Gold. Isn't that great?"
Yeah, maybe.
So,
but what's
look,
weird?
Microsoft's stock price has been taking a hit lately. That would have definitely have been a huge win for them, and something that they could have gone to their shareholders and been able to like hold that up on a pedestal and say, "Look at this that we just did." But
what's really weird, Vince, in the months leading up to this moment, all of the rumors and speculation was Xbox Live is going free. They're getting rid of it, and it's just going to be free to everybody. How did we go from those rumors, from pretty well-known insiders, oh yeah, it's going away, everybody agreed, it's going away, they're getting rid of Live, it's going to be free. How did we go from that to doubling Live?
I don't know. I honestly...
That, I think, is what makes this weird. Weirder than anything else. It makes me think that Phil Spencer wanted Xbox Live to be free.
Yep.
He wanted it. And he couldn't make it happen.
You can't make it happen.
He couldn't make it happen because as Tom was getting to, I think Game Pass, as great as it is, and the trajectory is solid, there's a future for that program, of course. Maybe it's not quite going as fast as they needed to, considering they're putting out $7 billion for Bethesda and doing this and that. They needed this to maybe happen even faster than it is. And it's happening fast. Don't get me wrong. Game Pass is being adopted incredibly fast. And even still, it might not be enough for Xbox.
Well, I don't think it's going to be enough.
To accrue what they need.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but
no, go ahead.
I don't think it's going to be enough, because the thing is too, like, yes, they just bought Bethesda, yes. They're also partnering with almost any third party that they can get for it, Sega, Square Enix, anything like that, to put these games on there. Like, just to me, like, the money doesn't make sense at what they're trying to do right now. Like, I just don't. I foresee what this is going to lead to now, considering Xbox Live Gold could not increase in price. We will, by the end of this year, we will see around a $5 price increase, I think, on Game Pass base. Is what's going to happen.
That, I think, is something we need to talk about. Mike, they retracted this. They reversed course. Doesn't that mean that they have to have a plan B here? Like, they were doing this because, as Tom said, as we're speculating, they needed to get their revenue up. They needed to show that to their shareholders, considering how much they're putting out right now for Bethesda and trying to bolster Game Pass. So considering this was a failure, what is plan B? Is it raising the price of Game Pass? How is that going to be received?
I think I'm personally of the camp that this was a 50-50 shot of either this is going to go fine or this is going to blow up in our face. And it blew up in their face, which is why they were able to retract on that so quickly and have everything, I mean, when was the last time you saw a company, especially one like Microsoft, retract something like this so quickly? Yes, it got a lot of bad press, but that doesn't mean anything. They've dealt with bad press for long periods of time. It's almost like this was calculated and like, listen, this is a good option. So I think this is, in my opinion, more of a let's test the waters and see what people are going to react the worst to. And the worst to was the free-to-play stuff and the just dramatic price increase. So I think what you're going to see is then come back and say, hey, listen, we get it. Going to $60 for half a year, $120 a year is unreasonable. But we do have all these services that we need to start charging for. So we want to consolidate and make it easy for you guys. So we are either going to see them not consolidate the services in the way that we thought they were and not have this just one unified, grouping, and start kind of a la carte piecemeal again, or we're going to see them go from, instead of $60 for the year, it's going to be $80 for the year, or, $15.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to close off this topic with. I agree with you. This is the fastest turnaround I think I've ever seen on something like this. It literally happened within, I want to say 12 hours, maybe 15.
It was a fast rollback.
And their reversal of it happened at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
That's weird. Like they wouldn't even wait until the next day. They were like, no, we're doing this at 3 a.m. in the morning. We're putting this freaking tweet out. Really bizarre. So, maybe they were testing the waters. Maybe it happened, the rejection, quicker than they expected. But I posted a poll in the chat. What will Xbox do with live and online services moving forward? Mike seems to think that they raised it, just not quite as much. Do we think that Xbox Live going completely free is off the table now? Will this never happen?
I do, at least not until there's a replacement, a revenue stream for it, like Halo Infinite multiplayer microtransactions.
Yeah.
There has to be other stuff like that first to replace it.
What about you, Tom? What do you think?
I think eventually they're going to try to raise the price. It seems like they're stuck on keeping Xbox Live. All the rumors I think you can throw out now that they were going to just completely move to Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of their business model that still relies on them keeping these subscriptions. I think they're going to keep them, and I would say wait another year and see maybe if they try to bump it up like an extra $5 to $10.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of a hybrid of Mike and maybe you, Tom, here, where I think that they increase the price, but they try to frame it as giving more. Because I think that they do get rid of Xbox
always.
Live, but the reason they get rid of Xbox Live is because, hey guys, we have a new tier of Game Pass. This is Game Pass Silver, whatever, I don't care. And it's $80 or it's $100, but on top of getting online play, you get this many games of our collection. You get 50 games of the 600 that are on Game Pass. I don't know. I'm just speculating and spitballing here, but maybe they try and come up with a tier of Game Pass that is lower, but includes that online play and allows them to keep around Xbox Live through that. I could see that potentially happening, because I don't think, considering the rejection that happened here and that they were even willing to try it, I don't think that free online is in the cards anymore, or even on the table for them. I think that Phil Spencer went for it and did not get it. Satya Nadella, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. I think he shot him down and said, no, we can't do this. Considering how much we're putting out right now and how we're trying to bolster up Game Pass, it just doesn't work for us. So,
guys, we just threw $1 billion your way. We're not going to just start giving stuff out for free now.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on. Mike, I'm excited to talk about your topic this week, or this month.
Yeah, man. What a weird few weeks we had with all this gaming movie and TV news. We had so much. So we're going to go through some of them. I think will be, lend itself to more conversation than others. But one quick one, Sonic 2 film is confirmed for April 8th, 2022. All we got was a little teaser of the title with Sonic running across in his traditional Sega Genesis style, but with a little bit of tail action going on there.
On that logo, right? So that's confirmed. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the first one?
I thought it was fun. I didn't think it was amazing or good by any means, but it was a fun kids movie.
It was better than it had any reason to be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It was better than it really should have been, especially considering what it looked like when it first was revealed. So,
which, and I say that completely saying that this is not an amazing film, but this is something if you and your friends are just like sitting around having a couple of beers one night, and you're just like, hey, let's just put on something stupid, like we'll put on this.
After 8 hours a day of Blue's Clues and Jake and the Neverland Pirates, this game was a gem. So I think my view of movies has been skewed a bit. But no, I'm looking forward to that. I'll definitely watch it. It's now free to watch on Amazon Prime, by the way.
Yeah,
so
that's
if you
cool.
have that, you can watch it on there. Out of nowhere, one of the most random and weird things to happen was Ratchet and Clank's short film was randomly shadow dropped. I haven't watched this. Did you?
No, I haven't. I know it was in Canada specifically where it aired. I think it's only like 23 minutes long, but it's, it kind of is a precursor story to Rift Apart. It seems like this was meant to tie in with that. And yeah, it's just a really bizarre thing. Like it almost seemed like a mistake happened or I don't know. I want to watch it. I heard it actually was pretty good. And I know that the movie that came out wasn't great. So for people to say that this was actually pretty solid, that's a good sign. Maybe means that they've got a good writer on the game for Rift Apart, and that this is going to be a promising story with some great humor and all that. So
the movie failed because it was supposed to just be cutscenes from Ratchet and Clank the remake. And that's the main reason why that movie didn't succeed, because you had to replace all of the gaming parts with trying to put in scenes to kind of get that stuff to move along. So that was the main problem. When you're actually like going through and you're like, okay, we're gonna do a tight 23-minute like little short movie, then like that's gonna obviously be much more superior than what they were trying to do with the movie.
That's true. That's a good point.
Another random that I'd never saw yet was the Twisted Metal TV series rumors that popped up again. This time with Anthony Mackie being offered the lead role as John, who I'm not really sure who John would be.
Probably like a Mortal Kombat type situation where it's like a new character introduced into the
maybe,
world.
Or it could be like the origin story of somebody.
Maybe it's a possibility.
Very good.
But what's also more bizarre is that Will Arnett offered the voice of Sweet Tooth. I don't even know. There's only one other movie that's more bizarre, and that's coming up later. But I just don't even get this one. The synopsis is, quote, high-octane action comedy circling around an outsider trying to better his own life. The protagonist has to deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland alongside a trigger-happy car thief.
So it definitely seems they're going more comedic than people maybe expected with this.
Yeah, this is going to be a very loose interpretation of Twisted Metal, I think. But we'll see what happens. I don't even know what to think.
PlayStation Productions. I'm pretty sure this is the first one from PlayStation Productions. So let's hope it does well.
We'll see. In kind of very frustrating news, to those of you who love and crave those insider leaks and can't get enough of them, you are to blame for Legend of Zelda being canceled on Netflix. Supposedly, the Legend of Zelda project that Netflix was in talks of working on was never supposed to have been announced, and the person that leaked it was likely the main reason that is not going to happen anymore. So thank you.
As well as Star Fox as well. They also canceled Star Fox, which nobody even knew about. Nobody even knew a Star Fox series was in production. They canceled that with The Legend of Zelda because of The Legend of Zelda's leaks. It's the most Nintendo thing ever, as we talked about, Vince, on Lights Up. Just the most Nintendo thing I've ever heard, and it pisses me off to the nth degree that we lost out on a Legend of Zelda live-action series because of leaks. Like, who gives a crap?
It looks like I gotta wait for another 5 years for that dude to put out another episode of A Fox in Space. I mean, jeez.
Unbelievable, man. Nintendo needs to get their heads out of their asses. They're just so in the past with some of this shit. It really bothers me.
Yeah, it's very frustrating when you want more content, like more like different content with these characters and all these IPs that they own, and they don't do anything with any of them, and that drives me up a wall.
I think they got so spooked by Mario, Super Mario Brothers when it came out in the 90s.
There was a Zelda cartoon too.
Yeah, they really did not do well with those. So I think they got spooked like forever now, potentially.
And Other M didn't really do any favors for them either, and that was like one of their first like original IPs that they went like very narrative based there,
and like outsourced and giving it to other people, and that's what they did with Mario Brothers. They gave it to this team that did something really unique and interesting with it. I'll say with the movie, but man, it's a little too far, right? A little too
Bob Hoskins.
You should watch that Honest trailer for that movie. That's amazing.
But Mike, keep going.
Yes, I don't know what even this movie is anymore, but Jack Black, amongst others, has joined the cast of the Borderlands film as Claptrap. What was very entertaining about this is, again, the one guy I watched stream, we were actually discussing, in the midst of discussing casting for Borderlands, because just before we were talking about Kevin Hart being Roland, which I don't get that either. And the suggestion by myself and somebody else at the same time was that Jack Black should have been Crazy Earl, and then a couple hours later, he gets cast as Claptrap. I don't get this movie. I don't know what they're doing.
It's got to. I mean, granted, like some of these choices for certain characters is bizarre, but it's a pretty crazy cast. I mean, you've got Kate Blanchett, you got Kevin Hart, you've got Jack Black, you've got Jamie Lee Curtis as well. Like, this is kind of wild.
I don't know, dude. It's like Danny just brought up. Like, they're bringing Tiny Tina is now suddenly Lilith's daughter.
Yeah, I did see that.
Are you
now,
kidding me?
well, hold on a sec, though. I thought that was the leaked script
point
that has now been confirmed to be false. Is that not true?
I don't know if it's confirmed false, but just everything about
think
this.
That might be false.
This all just feels like Randy is somehow a reason for this. Randall is somehow screwing with this show. He's
I don't get it.
The big magician that he is somehow swiping all of our expectations and throwing it against the wall.
Magician comes out.
Well, let's move on to a more exciting reveals.
Yes,
we got a trailer up on screen right now.
Yeah, man, what a special segment of my week this was. Out of nowhere, the Mortal Kombat trailer comes on Thursday, and did it do nothing but excite me. A lot
of people,
I was not expecting this. I had such low zero expectations for this movie. And
even with the screenshots?
Even with the screen, doesn't mean jack. They really don't anymore. Screenshots can only say so much, but this trailer really, to me, shows that this guy is taking things very seriously.
Especially his commentary on the trailer, if you listen to it.
Well,
really strong.
Right, yeah. And not only that, like, apparently he was crying for how happy he was at people's reception to it, because he loves this franchise so much, and this was like a dream project for him.
Yeah, and he has a knowledge and a respect of the lore that I didn't even realize, and it's kind of cool to see that that's being shown in this trailer. Like there's a lot of speculation happening on what certain things mean and how it's going to piece together. Even speculation, I don't want to say what it is because I think it might spoil people, even though it is speculation, but on who Cole might be more than just your surrogate character. Like there's actually some speculation that he might be more than just a surrogate, and I can believe it. And it sounds really cool. The concepts that are coming into play here, if they go that direction, I don't think this is going to be a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is going to get like 80-90% on Rotten Tomatoes, but really all it's got to do is be positive on Rotten Tomatoes, and that puts it in the higher echelon of video game movies. The highest ever right now is Angry Birds 2. Can this beat Angry Birds 2? What do you guys think? 73.
Yes. I can see this.
I think so.
Easily getting a 75 average.
Yeah, I think so too. Like mid-70s, I think could happen with this, and I think we might have the highest rated video game movie ever. With Mortal Kombat. Absolutely. Which makes sense that it would happen this way, right? Because Mortal Kombat kind of started it all in 1995 with one of the better video game movies, I would argue. Like it actually was not a bad video game movie from Paul W.S. Anderson, who otherwise sucks. But yeah, I actually enjoyed the comedic elements of that. And you can see a little bit of that comedy coming through, especially in the final Kano scene of this trailer. So I'm optimistic.
That guy has an awesome accent for this too. Man, I'm very hype on this. So
I'm suddenly like very, very upset that he didn't get a chance to play Captain Boomerang.
Like, I can see that, right?
He's so much better than Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
But
so the biggest we got to get to because we need time for this.
Yes. So we now have our cast for The Last of Us HBO series. We have Bella Ramsey, who was from Game of Thrones fame,
and Hilda, never forget
Hilda. I'm sorry,
so good. I love Hilda.
Probably the best voice, the best role. I love that show.
Yeah, it's great.
And the big one of them all, Pedro Pascal as Joel. Man, what a casting! I never would have seen Pedro.
I think is what's so cool about it, right? Is there's so much, speculation. There's so much fan casting on Joel for The Last of Us, and I don't think I saw anybody ever say Pedro Pascal. But now that we've seen it, and we've seen mock-ups, as we're going to see on screen in a moment, I have some mock-ups. It's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see this.
You know what? I will honestly say I don't think he would be, look-wise, visual-wise. He is not who I would go to normally. But I think his presence, his demeanor, the delivery of his lines, I think I can 100% see him in the role. Had it not been for The Mandalorian, I don't think I would have been as hype on it as other people are. But seeing how he can handle serious, intense situations like that, versus how he was as Oberyn, I'm much more reassured.
Mm-hmm. Go to King Kurt in the chat. He says, I don't need this show. I agree to a certain extent. I agree. Yeah. But at the same time, we said the exact same thing when The Last of Us Part 2 was announced. We don't need this. And I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the best games ever made. So,
and I still think that we didn't need The Last of Us 2. So I'm still with you, Kurt.
Yes, I can get that, but I think you cannot argue the quality and the passion and work that went into The Last of Us Part 2. And I feel like we're going to get that with this too. I think we're getting a very passionate team that wants to make the first fantastic television series based on a video game. Vince, what do you think? I mean, you got the Chernobyl team working on this. Chernobyl is like one of the best miniseries I've seen ever. Like, don't you think we've got a lot of reason to be optimistic for this?
Absolutely. I think we do. I mean, it just feels like, from we were originally hearing the announcements on that, it was a trickle of stuff. We didn't get like, in comparison, like the Uncharted movie in a way. You know how I kind of just felt like that was like all like everything just was kind of like just showing up and it was like, this is what we're doing. This has been pretty standard. Like, I mean, we're just now getting casting. It tells me that they're taking their time with this. Mm-hmm. I think it's only a good thing,
Yeah, for sure. I watched Prospect this week. Available on Netflix. Everybody should watch it if you want to get an idea of what Pedro Pascal can be like in that kind of role, post-apocalyptic in a way. It's actually a far-off future sci-fi, but they are traveling to a planet in order to harvest these gems out of these alien creatures, and things go to shit, and he gets tagged up with this young girl, and he has a similar demeanor in that, and even a similar accent in that to Joel. I really recommend everybody watch it if you're nervous about Pedro Pascal as Joel, because after watching that movie, I'm like, yep, I'm in. I get it. I 100% get it now why they went with him. I wouldn't be surprised if they watched that movie and were like, "Yep, this is who we're going with for Joel." He's a great actor. He really is.
Yeah, it seems like Pedro is slowly starting to become like the new nerd king. Like
Yeah,
it
a
seems
little
like
bit.
he's going to get like all the nerd roles. Like the only one who's going to be possibly close to him is now going to be Oscar Isaac.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, for sure.
With him getting Snake. So it's going to be. Look, I think he's going to be great. Like you guys said, he wasn't my first choice. I thought it was going to be John Hamm. But,
really, John Hamm, interesting
I thought
choice.
John Hamm as Joel, I think would have worked pretty well.
I wouldn't be against it. I love John Hamm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I wouldn't have been against that.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to at least seeing some of the first scenes from it because I like Pedro. I like to see him do well. All the things to Pedro. Give him everything.
We haven't really talked a lot about Bella Ramsey. I think she's getting more backlash actually than Pedro Pascal is, unfortunately, because people don't really know her very much.
But
she
I
really
think
was
that's
just
what
this.
you need, though. You need somebody who's not as well known in that role, especially because she's just got to play a young kid. Like I don't know how many young actresses that you can think of who you're like, oh yeah, that's got to be Ellie.
Yeah, I see it myself. She's a great little actress. First off, I'm curious to see what her accent's going to be like because she is British, so I'm curious to see how she's going to do her American accent. But I think she has the look, she has the charm, she has the spunk and all that, as we saw in Game of Thrones. And here's a good little mock-up here from Alice, and I'll see her full name, the artist, in a moment when we see Joel as well. But I see it there. I definitely do see Ellie in that artwork. It's a great little mock-up here, and wait until you see Joel right now as well. Alice XZ. Credit to Alice XZ. Look at this mock-up of Joel here. I think this is it, man. That's the money shot. Like that I see Joel there.
And
to
Kurt's worry about it not transferring well. I mean, dude, all they got to do is just copy The Walking Dead. That's really all they got to do. Just copy The Walking Dead, pretty much beat for beat. The only difference is that you're dealing with cordyceps zombies. And but like all the human interactions with all the humans being their worst possible selves at all times, it's just going to be a hyper focused on two specific characters as opposed to it being this large cast of people who are constantly dying or not dying.
I actually think that this will be fine as a movie. I just don't think we need it. I think the problem is that if it's a series, they might draw out things that don't need to be drawn out. But the benefit is now that we've gotten two, they can actually draw out things in a way that will just expand the story in the proper way.
In my opinion, they do 2 seasons for part 1 and they do 2 seasons for part 2. And I do think that you develop the world a little bit more and develop characters outside of Joel and Ellie because it's a TV series. And I do think that you need a little bit outside just those two in a TV series. And I don't know if that means the Fireflies or what, but I'm optimistic because it's a Chernobyl team. And what they did with it just fleshing out that entire disaster, I kind of expect that for the cordyceps outbreak. Like, what does this mean on a government level? And like all these different things I think that they could go into if they want to. I'm not sure how they're going to make it flow into Joel and Ellie's storyline, but I'm curious to see if they try to build out the world and the situation in a way that didn't make sense to do in the game. You're playing as Joel. You're going through the entire thing with Ellie. There's no reason really to switch off to other characters or anything like that in the game. So it makes sense that went that way and that they can kind of capitalize on that with a TV series for us that know the story and also for people that have no idea about The Last of Us. And I think that's what this is really targeted for more than anybody else is there's a lot of people that did not get to enjoy such a great story coming from a video game. People just don't play video games, and that's what this is all about here. So I'm very, very excited. I don't know. I think this is probably the most excited I am for any of the video game adaptations right now, and that even includes Metal Gear Solid myself. What do you guys think? What's your most anticipated?
I mean, right now because we actually have a trailer, it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's definitely. I'm hyped, man. That's April. That's not that far away at all. That's really exciting.
It's right around the corner.
HBO Max.
Pause your lives, everybody. Tom, I heard something. What does that sound mean?
Yes, Drew, that sound means it is now time for your halftime hedge. Halfway through every single episode of the Next Level Gamescast, we go through your wagers against us to earn more XP for this season. This month, we have only one resolved wager. We didn't get any new wagers in. We just have a resolved wager. And that was from They Call Me Denny, who wagered, he bet the house. He bet everything that he had. He went all in.
At the time, yeah.
5,859 SP. That Hitman 3 will score between 90 and 91 on Metacritic. Now, at the time, guys, we really thought that this was a plausible bet.
Sure.
Because we all thought, and Vince, you can speak to this more yourself, but with Hitman 3 coming out and all the expectations that they had set for themselves and everything that the game looked like and what they were trying to do, because this was very much, as you already had mentioned, that this was going to be their audition for 007, that they needed to knock this thing out of the park to where it was very possible that they could have hit the 90 threshold at least.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, it was very close. And honestly,
at one point it was very close. Yeah.
When the reviews dropped, I think we had an 89 at one point. It was really close. And then we had some more of those other reviews that what's hard if you kind of go through a lot of the reviews, and this isn't like to be a detractor, but like there's a lot who are like, it's the same game you played from 2014, just a little bit better. It's just like that's where like a lot of people were giving like 7s at that point, which kind of really brought that rating down.
Right.
But yeah, no, they're close. I mean, honestly, almost any person who's played it, they're gonna tell you like the game probably could have gotten a little bit higher.
I agree. Everything I'm hearing, everybody's talking about this game being like a 10. A lot of times, even Edge, one of the hardest reviewers that you can find, just gave it a 9, and they're like as hard as it gets.
As of right now, that is a runner for Game of the Year for me.
Do you feel, Vince, that part of the reason why it got such a low review from some of those guys is just the nature of how Hitman works, where it's not a whole lot of different missions that you can do. Like, it's not a very expansive game in that respect, where you have a bunch of different scenarios, but there's different ways that you can go about those scenarios, which is what you get more of the replayability and life extension of that game.
Yep, it's actually a really good point there, Tom, because that's actually it is an issue. Like, for me, I streamed that for a lot, and I was having a lot of fun with getting viewers to say, well, how about if you kill the target this way? Or everyone loved Slappy the Fish when I brought Slappy the Fish out, and I kept slapping people around with the fish. People love that. But, like, that's the rough thing, too. Is like, I finished Hitman 3 in 2 streams on the same day. I did a 4-hour stream and a 6-hour stream. I was done. I finished the game through from the 5 story content you can do with it. But I just kept going back because then it was like I kept unlocking this. I started changing my things. There's a 6-minute speed run on 6-second speed run on Dubai. It's
what?
Yeah, it's insane.
God.
If you watch some of the precision speed runs that game does, it's phenomenal. The amount of manipulation and precise timing you need to do a target, it's insane. But if you're not someone who likes that and you just go through it and you're done, that's it. It's a very shallow game. So,
and especially if you're reviewing it on a timeline where you're just like, I got to get through this game. This thing took me all of 6 hours to beat, and 7 out of 10.
And unfortunately for Denny, that might have happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I guess I have to do this. I'm sorry, Denny, but you lost to the house, and everything you had at the time was 5,859 SP removed.
But remember, folks,
that hurts me.
Look, it was a high risk, high reward bet. It was definitely within the realm of possibility. And please, everybody in the chat, do not let that distract you. You can place lower wagers if you would like than that. You don't have to place that much. And we can talk about.
But we prefer when you do.
We do prefer when you do because it makes things a little bit more exciting, a little juicy, as we would say. But definitely, everybody, I highly encourage you, head on over to our Discord and join in the hashtag halftime hedge channel within our Discord. And you can go ahead and try to place a bet, gaming related, that you want to put against us, and then we can negotiate on price and talk about like where you want to set the line. And then that enables you to gain some more SP for you to win or for you to purchase actually the fabulous prizes that we have for this month.
And keep in mind, we're getting a lot of people focusing on like Metacritic scores and release dates and things like that. You can get a little more creative than that as well. Yeah. I mean, let's look back at some of our slap bets, for example. Mike and I, one of our famous slap bets was Mike betting that the Joker would be truly alive and in person in Batman Arkham Knight, a bet that he lost ultimately, and I slapped him for. But that's the kind of stuff that you guys got to keep in mind. We don't have to just do reviews on Metacritic. You guys can go a little bit more, deep than that and be a little more creative with your bets.
You can guess story beats. If you think that the Umbrella Corporation is going to be behind everything in RE8, if you think that certain characters that haven't been revealed yet in the Mortal Kombat movie, like say Frost is going to be there, or Smoke, or some other character is going to be there, that's a potential bet for you. Because I don't know about you guys, but I would count that because it's video game adjacent.
As long as there's nothing like a leak that's already confirmed or something, we might have to do a little bit of digging and make sure there wasn't any type of pre-knowledge of the situation, like he's going to take advantage of it, or she. Then yeah, for sure, I agree. Those are fine bets, and I welcome those, and people getting a little bit more creative with their bets. Johnny Cage, is Johnny Cage going to be in it? I don't know. I hope so. We'll have to wait and see. But yes, as Tom said, get on our Discord, become a part of the community when we're not live, and get a part of the Halftime Hedge. We're going to move back into the level update, but first let me just do a quick shout out. We hit 40 people in the room for a moment there. Welcome in, everybody. I see that Derek joined us. I see that Henry DJP joined us. Spider Ivian joined us. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Anybody that is new, hit that follow button, become a part of this show, and don't forget that we're working towards after show. If we get some tips tonight, we're almost up to our daily sub goal, so all those things really matter and support the show. You guys are amazing for being here at all, though, so just hit that follow button if you're enjoying us. Right now, we're going to move over to Vince for his topic in the level update.
Man, this sucks. I hate this topic. But, guys, Warner Brother Games finally got a patent for the Nemesis system in the shadow of Plank series. And it sucks. So here's the story. I'm going to try to run through this real quick so we can discuss this real quick, because I know we're kind of a little bit short on time here.
A little behind, yeah.
But so the patent was secured, after multiple attempts on February 3rd of 2021. They have been trying to do this since 2015, since after Shadow of Mordor came out. Right. So then this was the part of the whole notice that IGN had linked to, was that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office released an issue notice on February 3rd, 2021, saying the patent would go into effect on February 23rd of this year. Warner Brothers has the option to maintain the patent through 2035, providing they keep up with the necessary fees. So I took the abstract from the patent. This is like the opening part of the patent here. And this is what it reads. I'm going to kind of go through this real quick here. So methods of managing non-player characters and power centers in a computer game are based on character hierarchies and individualized correspondences between each character's traits or ranks and events that involve other non-player characters and objects. Players may share power centers, character hierarchies, non-player characters, and relay quests involving the shared objects with other players playing separate and unrelated game instances over a computer network, with the outcome of the quest reflected in different games. Various configuration of game machines are used to implement the methods. So the big issue with this patent is they apparently kept getting their patent denied because the language was too broad. And this is the language that they allowed them to do. Like, there's a lot more to read through. The patent is very, very long. But essentially, the language is still too broad here. So for anyone who doesn't know what the Nemesis system is, this was a system that was debuted in Shadow of Mordor with a lot of upgrades in Shadow of War. And this was taking individual orcs in this game series. And if, like, the player interacted with them, say, like, you had a Yurik who killed you. And, that got him promoted from a soldier to a captain, up to a bodyguard, up to a war chief. That's how this whole thing's built, right? And there was this really cool mechanic to where, like, you were making these stories with these certain individual orcs. And, like, it even got some ridiculous to where, like, you had some orcs that were like a poet that would sing, or you had one orc that just wouldn't die. Like, they became like the Stitch, and they were just this unstoppable killing machine. Like, it sucks because, like, this system, this entire idea is now not going to be able to be used for a lot of other games. And it really truly sucks. Now, some people be like, well, but wait a minute, Vince, what about Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Or what about Watch Dogs Legions? Don't they have the same thing? They do, but to a certain level, and there's not a hierarchy. That's where they kind of got away with it. And the other thing too is this patent was also in development. It kept getting delayed, it kept getting pushed back, denied, pushed back, denied. It's now a cemented
But that's
deal.
the thing, right? As soon as to say that they would have been able to do those systems now that this patent has been filed or whatever and has gone through. So it's kind of a crazy thing, and it's kind of weird to me that is this the first time this has happened? It seems like it, right?
It is not actually the first time that something has happened. And so in my research on this, again, I really want to try to be quick here. We had a similar issue whenever Sega patented the floating arrow in Crazy Taxi, and EA made Simpsons Road Rage. That was actually a suit that they actually had to settle out of court because that was a patent infringement. Konami actually had a patent on a static marker with a marker moving up, and that's how you got an accuracy point for DDR. There was stuff like that. Namco had a patent for mini games in loading screens that actually expired in 2015. So it's not the first time that this has happened. It what just sucks about this is so broad, and that's why everyone liked Shadow of Mordor. Not so much Shadow of War, because Shadow of War had all the microtransaction issues that were there. But that's what made Shadow of Mordor kind of a critical darling when it came out, because it was like, this is really cool. Like, you're contextualizing all these individual orcs that I'm slaughtering and murdering, but there's always this chance that a story can be created there.
Yeah,
and
that was 100% at the time. Everything surrounding that game was the Nemesis system.
Right.
Everybody was talking about that, and that year that actually was a Game of the Year contender, and I think largely because of that. It was unique and new and fresh, and people really grabbed onto it. And it makes me wonder myself, what's next after something like this, something so broad as this.
That's what really sucks. I mean, I was talking to Mike again about this a little bit off the show. What sucks is what if Ubisoft had been when they were in development of, Assassin's Creed Unity and everything like that, and you know what? Hey, we're gonna go outside the city of Paris, but we have hills and everything to climb. Let's patent an animation system or an idea to where we can freeform climb up rocks. You wouldn't have a game like Breath of the Wild because of something like that. That's what sucks, and especially with Shadow of Mordor, it's Batman Arkham Asylum and a couple other Ubisoft open worlds. That's the game. It borrows so much to a point to where there was even one of the Ubisoft lead animators was saying, you kind of stole animations from us.
Yeah, I remember that.
So then the fact that they were going to sit there and say, yeah, we're going to patent this, and this isn't to diminish the work that Monolith did. I mean, it's an intensive system, but then let's sit there and say, yeah, we're going to patent this one thing. It was just but your game was made with a whole bunch of other borrowed elements. That's how game development really works. Could you imagine if id Software had patented Wolfenstein?
Yeah, it does make it kind of dirty when you look at it that way, right? Even more dirty, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we wouldn't have first-person games. So that's what really sucks. I mean, just to kind of open the discussion here real quick, would there be anything that you guys would think of that you would be worried about someone patenting now, especially in this day and age, if something like this can happen?
That's an interesting question.
Imagine Battle Royale,
right?
Right.
Or live service games in general. Imagine if Destiny somehow patented an always online hub that wasn't an MMO. There's so much dangerous...
asynchronous online gameplay, similar to Journey or something like that. What Journey did with its online mechanics, or
the main problem that, as I see it, is that this is the fact that it's video games. Most courts, most patent offices, and everything else like that, they're not really versed in the world of video games.
Right.
So this isn't a situation where you have Paris Hilton trying to patent That's Hot, or trademark rather. It's not one of those things where it's not something that's can easily say I can look at that phrase and be look, that is way too if somebody just says ow, this that pan, that's hot. It's not something where it's now all of a sudden I owe you money, or what happened with what's his name from Fresh Prince, the guy who played Carlton. when he was trying to patent the Carlton dance.
Right.
You know, you can borrow certain elements from that, and as long as you're not doing the entire routine, and it's the same thing, as long as you're not copying the same game, then like beat for beat and everything else like that, then if you just borrow elements from like small elements from each thing, that's how, exactly as Vince said, that's how game development works. You build off of what came before. All of art is derivative. Like all of it is.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that scene in The Social Network where they're accusing Mark Zuckerberg of stealing Facebook, and he's like, "Is there any line of code, that I've stolen? Like, show me a line of code that I stole from you." Because really, in the end, that's what it comes down to. Like, as long as you're repurposing it and recreating and writing your own version of it, then that's like any art, really. Taking inspiration and developing it into your own thing. As long as they're not stealing code, then really there's nothing wrong.
But I will say I do question how well this will hold up in court. In general, I don't know if this will really be as negative as the fear is, only for the sheer fact that judges, competent, in this type of, not only art but language of how the patent is written, could easily, almost laugh this out of court. I think any competent judge looking into it and seeing it would dismiss it and question it.
I would
the
say
only
any,
thing that I will
any yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing that I will just argue against that, Mike, just real quick there, is the precedent that has happened with it, though. It has stopped from all those other things I have listed. That has stopped those things from happening, even though it's been, I would assume, I did some research as best as I could. They all had a very similar language to that. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a patent officer. I have no idea. I mean, it could just be a little bit more over fear. But the real issue is that the problem is like they patented the entire system of nemesis, nemesis forts, nemesis vendettas, social vendettas. Like there's all these broad key terms that are patented in this patent, which sucks. It's like the social vendetta part, especially, is like the hard part. It's like do that in Grand Theft Auto 6, right? Like say you bust into someone's car. Rockstar can't develop like that NPC now remembering who you are, and then like you're out one day drinking, and they all of a sudden they come doing drive-by. They can't do that now. It has to be that immediate thing that happens. That's just the only thing that sucks.
But again, it's the validity of that. A game studio can and very well should make whatever they think is going to work in whatever system they do, and if it is challenged, they can easily challenge it back again because of the way that coding works, and because it's also considered an art. I don't know if it would ever hold up in court. Not to mention that the patent on it would most likely be monetary damage, not cease and desist.
But I get the fear.
What you would always do in
those
situations, and just very brief legalese, I am not a lawyer. Let me put that out right now.
This is not a fake fans moment.
The way, to my understanding, is that 9 times out of 10, what you have to do is you have to throw out a cease and desist in order to begin litigation from that point. Because then it becomes like, all right, you already asked me to stop, and I'm basically telling you, no, F off.
Mm-hmm.
So look, to Vince's point, I think at the end of the day, and exactly what Mike was saying, I don't think that this would ever hold up in most courts. I think any defense attorney worth their salt would be able to point out, look, no single line of code was taken from their games. They didn't strip data mine the games and then all of a sudden just said, okay, we're going to take all of this and then throw it into our game. There's going to be enough where they can say, hey, look, we have our own little spin on it. It's not exactly this, but it kind of works like it, but it's not it. And they can start making all the art arguments that they want, bringing in dance routines, how you can't really patent the idea of a chicken parm sub. You can't, there's certain, like there's nothing that you can really do where you could say like, look, there's things that exist, and exactly as we just kept, and I'm repeating it myself again, but it bears repeating. All art is derivative. Yeah. There are certain things, as long as you are not taking the thing beat for beat, word for word in its entirety, and 100% underlined in its entirety, then there's really no case there.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
No, I don't disagree.
Let's
with it, guys.
hope, right? That the
hoping you're
fear is
right.
there though, because it is a slippery slope, as some might say.
Because inevitably, if you're a AAA publisher, your worry is, look, I just want to put out a game and make money. I don't want to potentially have to go and litigate this, and it'd be more trouble than what it's worth. I'm not trying to make a political stand on what constitutes non-derivative art, or what So. Look, unless it's going to be like an indie developer who's going to say "F you" to WB Games
fear right now.
That's
the biggest fear,
and that's what they would likely do. And it would have to be probably an indie developer who would be like, "No, this is my potential livelihood. I'm going to fight for this."
Yeah,
right.
We went a little long on this, so I think we got to move on here to Tom's final topic.
Yeah, I'll
in the
go
level
quick
update.
on this. I'll go quick on this because there's not too much to say other than the actual story itself.
Sure.
Other than I called it.
That's true. That is exactly why you have this topic.
Prediction correct.
Google Stadia is ending first-party development. Phil Harrison writes, "We launched Stadia with the goal of making your favorite games instantly available wherever you want to play them. With the recent successful launch of Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia," how successful was it really? "Gameplay on all types of devices, including iOS, growing our slate of YouTube integrations, and our global expansions, it's clear that Stadia's technology has been proven and works at scale. Having games streamed to any screen is the future of this industry, and we'll continue to invest in Stadia and its underlying platform to provide the best cloud gaming experience for our partners and the gaming community. This has been the vision of Stadia since the beginning."
So Stadia is not dead, technically.
Oh, no. And what he is saying here is, look, we've never been better than ever.
Yeah. We're doing great, guys. We're doing so great.
We're flying straight to the moon. We're going to Mars, son.
Yeah.
But he does go on to say, in 2021, we're expanding our efforts to help game developers and publishers take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to their players. We see an important opportunity to work with partners seeking a gaming solution all built on Stadia's advanced technical infrastructure and platform tools. We believe that this is the best path to building Stadia into a long-term, sustainable business that helps grow the industry. Creating best in-class games from the ground up takes many years and significant investment, and the cost is going up exponentially. This is where the other shoe is dropping.
So pretty much what I'm hearing right now is Scott Pilgrim, but it's hard. That's what I'm hearing right now. Like they didn't realize that it was going to be hard to make a game from the ground up and build studios.
I mean, did you know that game development, it costs money?
God, this is so much harder than I thought it would be.
I could just get 5 college kids, throw them into a room, and Portal would just come out.
Yeah.
That's how they made Valheim.
That's exactly how they made Valheim. I joke, but like that's 100% what some of these guys think, I think. Continuing on, given our focus on building on the proven technology of Stadia, pay attention to his words here, the proven technology of Stadia, as well as deepening our business partnerships, we've decided that we will not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from our internal development team, SG&E, beyond any near-term planned games. With the increased focus on using our technology platform for industry partners, Jade Raymond has decided to leave Google to pursue other opportunities. We greatly appreciate Jade's contribution to Stadia and wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. Over the coming months, most of the SG&E team will be moving on to new roles. We're committed to working with this talented team to find new roles and support them.
So pretty much, and you're especially this follow-up quote from Kotaku and their sources. What I'm getting out of this is Stadia is not dead. It's just that, hey guys, we're done putting in the work to actually make studios because, hey, look at what other people are doing. Yeah. Guys, we're Google. We have how many billions of dollars in our war chest? It's time to start buying shit up, is what I'm seeing here. And I think especially with this next quote here from Harrison or from Kotaku and their sources.
Kotaku's sources, internal sources, further confirm that Harrison's main concern seems to be that Microsoft's buying spree and specifically the acquisition of Bethesda games was one of the factors that made Google decide to close the book on original game development.
Oof.
And look, I completely get that, because at that point they're kind of like, look, we're kind of spitting into the Grand Canyon and expecting that's going to fill up here.
They're like, why the hell are we going to spend years developing internal studios when Microsoft's over here just buying 8 studios, 9 studios all at once? Like,
right.
What the hell are we doing? Why are we wasting our time?
The Sony model is not for them. Like, they're not trying to build a bench of game developers here. Google's got their hands in so many. They're too busy worried about doing a self-driving car. They're not going to spend money on trying to acquire Square Enix.
But this is terrifying to me. This story is terrifying, Tom, because all I hear in my head is continue the acquisition wars have. Like, this is going to become nasty, you guys. This is going to become Amazon, Google, and Microsoft buying up everybody they possibly can. And Sony probably not, honestly, and getting left in the dust in that regard, and hopefully being able to keep up with their development of internal studios, continuing to foster that. But we're going to see so much consolidation in the next couple of years, and we're going to see so many franchises that we know and love become exclusive to certain platforms, and it's gonna suck. I think it's really going to suck.
And
unfortunately,
Google has now made a bid on CD Projekt Red. And all the Gamergate assholes are up in arms, while the rest of humanity says, "Go fuck yourself."
Are you for real?
No.
It is interesting though. Like, King Kurt brings up an important thing in the chat. He says probably ran better on Stadia than PS4 and Xbox. You're not wrong. It actually did run better on Stadia than PS4 and Xbox, and they had a moment to capitalize on that, and they didn't take it. Like, they should have been building up Stadia before Cyberpunk for that reason, and getting that knowledge out there that it's going to run well with this really high resource heavy game that's so demanding. Like, play it on Stadia. They could have capitalized on that in a major way, and they didn't. They've been doing everything wrong with this thing.
Get the definitive Cyberpunk experience on Stadia. Like,
no matter what your hardware is, no matter what your hardware is, play the definitive version of Cyberpunk on your hardware. They could have done really well with that. At least better than they have been doing, right? Because my God, this thing's just been a garbage truck on fire since the very beginning, and
it has, and it really is showing no signs of slowing down of that fire. It seems,
but that's what makes it even worse, right? Is we got this garbage truck on fire, but Google has all this money, and if they really want to, they could buy up a lot of stuff and then just attach that to the garbage truck. And then it's like we're just losing crap for what?
Like, but again, this feels very much like it's starting to go down that same Google development cycle flow. Like, we're hitting that flow chart again, where it's just, it worked. They're going to work on it a little bit while. They're going to feed it, then they're going to start sunsetting certain things within them, and now it seems like SG&E is going to start getting sunsetted. And then eventually they're just going to close shop, because they're going to be like, hey, we tried it. Because as we know, guys, and I don't know how much the chat knows, but Google definitely runs on this idea of, hey, just throw, even if you don't think it's going to work, just throw ideas out, and there's a financial incentive for you to try and expand the business in some way, which is where you get a Google Glass, where you get all these different Google little things that they have, like the graveyard of Google IPs that they've owned over the years that have just come and gone almost immediately. Google Circles, all that other nonsense.
About Circles.
Yeah, everybody forgets about the Circles, their own social media network that went the way of the dodo. So I mean, this screams to me like this is the beginning of the end of Stadia. I don't foresee, as much as Drew, I know you're worried that they're going to potentially start buying up studios. I don't think Supergiant is going to get bought up by Google Stadia.
I pray to God. I'm just nervous because it could happen, and that alone scares me. I just hate this acquisition war that's starting.
It's far more likely that Google and Alphabet just completely abandon Stadia than them starting to buy up studios.
Yeah. Yep. Let's pray. Let's pray that like so many other Google projects, it's just bites the dust and just gets added onto the list. There's literally a website dedicated to Google's failures. I can't remember what it's called, but
Google.
Killed by Google. Let's just add it to Killed by Google, please. Let's get it on there as soon as possible. Anyway, I think we're going to skip our commercial break here because we actually haven't had anything worth wheel spins during.
Right, I'm actually going to have to go.
That is fine, Mike. No worries there.
Love you, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Thanks for being with us this long, man. Get some sleep.
Sleepy time.
And we're going to move on to our seasonal segment, but since we didn't do a commercial break, let me just say real quick, welcome to everybody. We do have 35 people in the room. If you're enjoying the show, hit that heart button, turn notifications, get alerts when we go live. Same for Vince and Tom. Check out their channels. Use the commands in the chat. Give them those follows. Check us out on YouTube as well afterwards. We'll archive this episode. It'll go up on there. It'll go up as a podcast on Apple and Spotify, all that good stuff. And most importantly, Discord at discord.gg/levelupnetwork to be a part of the community even when we're not live. We're going to ask you guys in the chat right now more than ever to share the show because this seasonal segment is entirely about your votes. We're going to vote as well, but if you guys aren't voting, this really doesn't work. We need you guys to be voting on these battles for the top 64 games of the decade. We did 64.
And I will be right back while you continue this spiel.
Yeah, please go ahead. We started off with 64 games last month. We had 32 battles, and we have narrowed it down now to 32 games that will battle it out tonight. We're going to narrow it down again. We're going to cut that in half by the end of tonight, down to 16 games. But even down to 32, we're getting into more tense battles. We're getting into some high intensity stuff here that might cause some friction. And that's what we want, some friction. We want you guys to be invested in this and get ready for some great battles to come. I'm going to wait for Tom to come back. But anything else I can say here while we wait for that? I'm trying to see here if there's anything else I got on my spiel Druckmann. Oh, I guess I could say real quick, guys, we got 6 subs tonight. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. We had Trish, Jersey Tom, Mike Noob Guru, King Kurt, Poo Snacks, and Chubrock all came with subs tonight. That's 6 out of 10. We're over halfway there on our daily sub goal. We're almost halfway there on our daily follow goal. And if you want to go above and beyond that even, don't forget that the tips add up to after show tonight. I will stick around, of course, and talk with you guys. $30 in tips equals 30 minutes in after show. $60 in tips equals a full hour of after show to focus entirely on the chat and talk with you guys. Garbage Truck on Fire, we got it in the chat there.
There it is.
There it is. I didn't know you were a sub to the kind of funny crew, King Kurt. Very nice. I love that emote. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. And since we don't have Tom back, I'm just gonna go with it, guys. Tom, I guess, is not gonna be able to vote on these starting battles. That's okay. Let me pull up the bracket while I'm at it too.
I am taking my hoodie off. So I'm turning my video off real quick.
Is it getting
Oh, I'm toasty.
heated in there?
I am toasty. Plus, especially with the temperature gonna happen to get up here a little bit. I think I wanna be cool.
Yeah,
you know?
I got you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link in the chat for you guys. I didn't know either. I guess you were gifted it, huh? I'm going to post a link in the chat for you guys of the bracket so you can follow along and see where we're going. We are only halfway there on this. That was quick, man. Damn, you ripped that hoodie off, didn't you?
I did. I absolutely ripped that hoodie off. I'm dying in here a little bit.
All right, so let's do this. Let's start the battles off. Let's see what our first one will be here. There we go.
See that, my dark passenger.
First battle of the night in round number 2. Wait for it. Battle number 1. The Last of Us versus Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Wow.
I love RE2 Remake. Don't get me wrong. It was a great game, but it's The Last of Us, guys. I'm going with The Last of Us.
I mean, I'm going to go with Last of Us. I loved RE2 Remake, but not as much as Last of Us.
Yeah,
of course.
Last of Us is a game that sticks with you for such a long time.
It does.
Maybe forever.
Forever.
Maybe forever.
It's tattooed on my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that Tom would vote for. I think he's a big RE2 guy. But I think even Tom would vote
I'm a big
for
RE2 guy.
Oh, he's back, everyone.
Well, you have just a moment here to vote on The Last of Us or RE2 Remake.
Last of Us. Last of Us.
See?
Bop.
We called that.
Way to go. The Last of Us will take this one.
With the commanding lead.
Did Last of Us Part 2 retroactively hurt The Last of Us for you, Tom,
no.
anyway?
No,
No.
it didn't retroactively. It's very much in the same way that, I think that the Dead Space series ended at 2.
Okay.
He just thinks it ends at 1.
Yes, for me, Last of Us ends at 1. So, and I'm good.
Very nice. Well, there you have it. The Last of Us takes the first battle number 33 in this tournament. Moving on to the next battle we have. The Last Guardian versus Animal Crossing New Horizons. I got to go with The Last Guardian on this one.
Yeah, nah, sorry.
I had so much fun with Animal Crossing. Don't get me wrong, I really did. But Last Guardian is one of those games I was very strongly impacted by on stream, cried on stream, and that means a lot to me when a game can do that. I connected really, really strongly with Trico and that story, and just such a beautiful game. I really hope that it grabs you by the end in the way that it did for me, Tom. I'm looking forward to next month.
I hope it does too. I'm like I said, I'm excited. I'm already getting a lot of feels from the story as it is, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Are you like an animal lover? Like, do you have that connection where?
Oh, 100%. I love my girlfriend's little Cavapoo that she has. Like,
Oh, she's got a Cavapoo as well. I got a Cavapoo. That's Boogie. He's a Cavapoo.
Yeah. It's a little. I mean, she calls it a Cavapoo, but I don't know. Maybe she got sold a bag of goods here, but it's a beautiful little thing. I love it. I'm a big fan of animals of all kinds.
Yeah, I
me.
think that if you're one of those people that like can't look at like the videos of animals like in homeless shelters and shit like that, if that hits you hard, then Last Guardian's gonna hit you really hard at the end, and that's not a spoiler to say. I'm just saying.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake versus Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oof. It's remake.
Yes, it is.
It's remake. Ori's really good game. Really, really good game. I'm not gonna look, we're starting to get to that point in the tournament now where this is not an indictment on the other game.
No, these are the best games of the decade, guys. Like, if you're even in the top 64, that's good. You're in the top 64 games of the decade. That's 10 freaking years of games. You know how many games released in a freaking 10 years? It's insane that you'd even be in the top 64. So kudos to every contestant,
which is why I wanted to preface that, because I know I was very quick to say it's Final Fantasy VII Remake, but look, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm sorry. Like, I love Ori. I think Ori is an amazing.
Well, maybe you guys should vote for it then and make sure this happens in the chat.
I highly recommend it to everyone. Everyone should play Ori.
Don't let any upsets happen, you guys. You got to vote for these things.
Just for the chaos to happen.
Yeah.
How very dare you?
It's
over. VII Remake takes it.
I knew you were going to win, so it's fine.
VII Remake moving on to round number 3 next month. Round 3, 4, and 5 will all happen next month. It's the final 16 battles. So congratulations to that one. Moving on from that, we got battle number 36 in this tournament. It is The Last of Us Part 2 versus Fallout 4.
Not even a question.
Not even a question.
Not even a question. I am sorry. Not
this is the one where I root for a meteor.
Come on, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Come on. I just nah.
Man.
Nah.
You know what? Fallout 4, I had so much fun with it. I did. But it's objectively just not anywhere close to being as good a game as New Vegas was.
Mm-hmm.
And even 3 in some respects. As much as I hated 3's ending, like 3 at least was like, oh my god, this is new, this is interesting. And then New Vegas came out, and you're like, oh my god, like this is exactly what I want from a Fallout game by Obsidian. And then 4 comes out, and you're just like, oh my god, this is like. You just have so much trouble dealing with above the technical issues that you had. Just the story beats, like everything else, it's just not nearly as interesting.
Oh, Final Fantasy VII Remake versus The Last of Us Part 2 next month. Get out of here. All right.
That's Final Fantasy Remake, please.
That hurts me inside. That really hurts me.
The easy call for me.
I don't like that. Moving
super
on.
Easy for me on that one.
Battle number 37, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild versus Batman Arkham City. Breath of the Wild.
Arkham City.
I'm gonna say Arkham City.
I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
No.
I do. I mean, well, like aside from the fact that I think Batman has more of a hold in my heart than Zelda does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's also because of how deep I am into comics lore and all the like little nods and everything else that they did in that game. On top of the fact that it is a tight experience, and just hanging around, flying around Gotham, I love City.
This is a big old yikes right now, guys. This is a big yikes.
It's not a big
This is a
yikes.
massive yikes.
This is not a massive
Round
yikes.
2, Breath of the Wild, getting knocked out. Get out of here.
Impact is a better Breath of the Wild than Breath of the Wild.
Get out of here, you guys. This is embarrassing.
This isn't embarrassing. This is destiny.
I'm
This is
embarrassed by
balance
this
being
community
brought back.
right now. What is wrong with you all? All right, Batman Arkham City
Yes.
moves on to round number 3. Really
You think you owning the show gives you power over us?
It never has. I know that. You kidding me?
You
You know how many things I've been made to do by this community? You eat a water bug and talk to me. Get out of here. Next up, Grand Theft Auto 5 versus Journey.
Oh, it's super easy for me on that one. It is a game called Journey.
The hell? I think Siri or whatever the hell just heard me back there.
Now,
Started
see,
playing
and
music.
this is the one where I start playing. I start using my big brain arguments, and I start going with which one of these games has the more cultural impact.
I'll be right back.
And
Freaking
and
Amazon
and
just heard me.
The answer is going to be 5.
Yeah, I get it. At the same time, I think Journey's a better game.
as far as like where it goes, takes the medium. Journey
guys
is
hear
the
that
better
music?
game. Yes.
Yeah. No, so I think to me it's a better
Alexa
game.
just started playing
Whereas
music
like
out of
5
nowhere.
is just an
That was
upgrade
weird.
from 4 is really all I feel for it. They just kept reselling it, and they have a very powerful online component. If that game
Somebody
didn't
just
have
messed
an
up
online
everything.
component, a lot of people would have forgotten 5.
I can't see shit.
And that's a
Where
good
the hell
point
is
because
my
5
thing at?
and we specifically list this as Grand Theft Auto 5. We do not list this as Grand Theft Auto Online.
Right. Now, if this was
All
online.
right, I hope the audio didn't just get messed up. But Journey
You're good.
wins.
Yeah. That would be where my
Sorry if
take
my
on that
audio
would
got
be.
messed up.
a
Everybody.
good point,
man.
Moving on to the
Drew
next
is-
battle.
Drew is struggling.
Drew is struggling.
All right, we got
Yelling again.
Bloodborne versus Ghost of Tsushima. It's battle number 7, I
For me
think. I
too.
hope.
Ooh.
Easy one for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. Very. What, Vince? What? That was easy for you, and you voted
Yeah.
Ghost? Get out of
Yeah.
here. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
I told you, I'm not
What is
as a huge
wrong
fan
with
of
you?
Bloodborne as some of you people are. I much prefer Sekiro over it.
What the hell is happening tonight?
Nothing's
This is
happening.
insane.
Nothing's happening. I just like Sekiro more than Bloodborne. That's it, and I like.
And that
Ghost
is
more.
insane.
Why is that insane?
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Oh my god! Why is that insane?
I
There's
mean,
other people who agree with me on that
This
too. so-
this I think is probably going to be one of our more controversial battles here.
it's a tie right now. We need a tiebreaker.
Yeah, we do need tiebreakers in here
Come on,
Because
guys.
because this is tough, and I might have to go coin here, but I don't know, man. Like I love Ghosts, but
That combat
Bloodborne-
system doesn't hold a candle to Bloodborne.
Bloodborne
Eh.
just takes that formula and just okay. So we got a tie.
Okay, what are we doing here? We might
I
have to
got-
flip a
I
coin
got
because we
the
all
quarter.
voted.
I got
Yeah.
the quarter. So heads for Bloodborne, tails for Ghost.
This is not the way they should have gone. All right, go.
It's heads.
Bloodborne! Yes!
There you
Bloodborne
go.
takes it.
Yes. Come on. That should not have even been a question. We don't have enough people
Play-
voting tonight.
Play
This is insane.
Ghost on realistic mode, and then come back to me about combat. All right, you do
Oh,
that.
Dude, no. I saw the base of Ghost of Tsushima. There's no
I'm
way
sorry.
it was coming
Play
even close
realistic,
to
and you go into that
Bloodborne.
whole thing,
And that doesn't even
you
get into how
come
many
back to-
different classes and ways of playing you for Bloodborne.
I will give it to Vince. Ghost at that point, it just becomes like an 8-hour samurai showdown
It's fantastic.
at that point.
Yikes.
A little Sam Snow.
Moving on.
Will.
Next battle we have Gone Home versus Demon's Souls. Such different different games.
Very different games, but
yeah,
I'm sticking with Miyazaki here.
I actually think I'm gonna go Gone Home on this one.
Really?
I think so.
The poll start?
This one's it, didn't it?
No, it did not start.
It did
Sorry,
not
guys.
start.
Starting it now. Make sure I got the right one. I did. There it is. It is in there, guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Gone Home on this one, actually.
Yep. Yep. Gone Home was powerful for me.
Yeah, same here.
At a 2 a.m. playthrough on Steam. That was a tough morning.
Yeah, I
was
remember
rough.
I couldn't put that game down, and I also beat it at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I just could not put it down. I needed to see the end of that story.
Yep. That was tough.
Only 5 votes. We got to get some more people in here with these votes.
And I finished my first playthrough of Demon's Souls, and I absolutely loved every second of it. I thought that Blue Point
It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Blue
too,
Point
for the
deserves
most part.
all the things.
Oh, it's a good game.
What they
Do
deserve
not
is
get
Metal
me
Gear
wrong.
Solid. That's what they deserve.
They deserve Siphon Filter. I'm just kidding.
Oh, they're
them
just
Metal Gear Solid.
They'll just take Retro Studios' little Twin Snakes
No, man, they're gonna
That
make
was
it their
Silicon
own.
Knights, actually, wasn't it?
or Silicon Knights. Yes.
Before this goes here, let's let that poll finish up. It does. Gone Home takes out Demon Souls.
Thank you, Vince. So we don't have an error in this show.
An
No, you're good.
upset victory on that one there, I would say. Next up, we have Red Dead Redemption 2 versus Sekiro.
Super easy choice for me.
Wait for
It's
it.
a super
so
easy
easy.
choice for me as well.
So easy, it's not even funny.
In this group, yeah. Here's the thing. I think I might abstain from this, even though I love Sekiro that much. I need to
You're
see how
fine.
it's going. I feel like I can just abstain because I never finished Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think there's a good chance I'm gonna really like it. So I'm gonna abstain.
I actually am going to say you're not going to like it.
Okay.
I'm going to say that flat out. I think you'll like the story. I think you will not like the game.
Yeah,
I'm very confident in that.
it's very much where you're going to enjoy the destination, but hate the journey the entire
Yeah.
way.
If you didn't like Death Stranding the way it was, you're going to be much harsher on this game.
See, I played a fair bit of Red Dead Redemption. Like I know what the traversals like. I played at least 12 hours of that. I do not get the Death Stranding comparisons at all.
Trust me, dude. So did I.
No.
I probably put in a good at least 20
Trust me.
hours into Red Dead Redemption 2, and I
68
I
hours.
loathe that game.
I hate it. 68
Wow.
hours. I hate it. I did everything.
Wow. Load.
I've never hated a game more than I hate Red Dead Redemption.
I finished it, epilogue, everything.
What?
Hate.
My God. The
Well,
freaking hot
for
takes
what-
tonight, you guys. Really hot takes.
For what it is, man. I mean, it is the definition of sloth, that game.
Yep. I don't care if people don't like that.
Jesus,
I don't even care if
GM
it's a hot
Chrysler.
take. Nope.
Moving on, our next battle is Resident Evil 7 versus Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Both games that suck from third acts.
Yeah, that's true. That's not off.
Well, Yeah, like you know what I'm saying?
You know what? Look, the third act of 7, I don't really hate it. I don't hate it. I
that's
mean,
fine.
look,
I don't
I
hate
just
it
think
either.
I just think it just drops in quality so much. In comparison to that very first hour.
I mean,
like-
look, yeah, that very
This
first
is a tough
hour
one for me.
is like it's chef's kiss. I mean, you
Yes.
can't really beat that first hour.
You-
But
As disappointed as I was in Phantom
I
Pain,
mean,
I think I'm still going to give it to this.
I think it could be lesser than that, but I don't think it's as bad. As much as the fact, look, the third act of Phantom Pain, like
it's non-existent.
it's non-existent. It doesn't
Yeah.
even exist. At least you could say that there's a third act in Resident Evil 7. There is none in 5.
Yeah.
But I had
It's
so much
missing
more fun
another.
playing
It's
5.
missing another 6 hours of game.
I had so much more fun in 5.
Well, it's over. Phantom Pain. A little too late there, Tom. Wouldn't matter
Yeah,
anyway.
but it wasn't going to help you.
It wasn't going to matter. But Metal Gear
It's
Solid
okay.
5, The Phantom Pain, moves on to round number 3. It will face off against Sekiro.
Vocal cord parasites.
Yes.
Play this like
Moving
a
on to an interesting battle, this next one. Very interesting battle. We have
That's not even a question for me.
What Remains of Edith Finch versus Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
I
shit,
think,
start
I
too
think you
early.
got to give it to Yoshi P.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Do
I'm
I?
sorry. You don't
I
have
think-
to if you
I
don't
think
want
you
to.
do,
Thing
because
is, I
it's-
didn't play enough of it. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. I think you're fine with voting for Edith Finch. I think Edith Finch is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But 14 is a mainline Final Fantasy game. There is no question about it now, which
Oh,
I think
I
is
agree,
much
yeah.
more impressive than, because like there was a time where people were like, it's an MMO, it doesn't matter. Now it's, yeah, it matters.
It's like, and the
I would tie it
cultural
up right now if I
relevance
voted
of
for
it is good now at this
14.
point.
Actually.
It's up to you. You can vote. You can vote for.
Oh, never
whatever you
mind.
want.
I'm gonna be the tiebreaker, son of a bitch. Aren't I? I'm gonna be the tiebreaker on this.
Yes, you are, and it's fine. I'm not going to hate you for whatever decision you make. I think but they're both valid, extremely valid choices.
What Remains of Edith Finch is the dark horse of this tournament so far. It took out Skyrim, and now it has a chance to take out Final Fantasy 14 based on me. And I'm going to give it to it. I'm going to give it to Edith Finch, you guys. I like an underdog story.
It's fine.
Edith Finch moves on, and next battle is Titanfall 2 versus Portal 2.
Fight.
Ooh.
I hate
Two
this.
great first-person
gonna
single-player campaigns.
Yeah, I'm going Titanfall 2.
I'm gonna go with Portal.
Yeah,
Two.
this is a really tough one.
But like it's tough. I just love Portal.
I feel like what gives Titanfall 2 the edge for me is the fact that it is, I think, a more complete and interesting package than Portal 2 is.
I would disagree with that because I love Portal 2's story. I love everything about it, and I like puzzle games more, a little bit,
Right.
than first-person shooters. But Titanfall 2 is one of the best FPS campaigns ever
Look,
made.
Portal's
Period.
story is great, 100%. Portal 2's story is just to me it's more Portal. Titanfall 2's story completely like changes the game on like how a first-person shooter campaign can be.
I wanted this to come down to a coin flip. Tom, heads for Titanfall 2, tails for Portal 2.
Okay, stand by. 3,
Damn.
2, 1. It's heads.
And it is Titanfall 2 moves on to round
The
number
fix
3.
is not in, guys, because the last couple of ones that I've done,
Fight.
it's gone the other way for me on that coin flip.
And this one, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt versus Final Fantasy 15. Sorry, Final Fantasy, I'm voting against you twice tonight.
Yeah, I think that's The Witcher 3.
Fake
Witcher
fan.
3.
Fake fan.
Fake fan.
Hey, people get on me all the time about my bias for Final Fantasy, and I'm proving you all wrong tonight. I voted against Final Fantasy twice tonight.
One night doesn't mean anything, Drew.
Now,
One
granted,
night.
I still have to go through and play that. It's the definitive edition that's on the That's
the
on
Plus
the-
collection, the
that's on
Royal,
the Plus
the Royal
collection?
edition. Yes,
Royal
that
edition?
is- yeah.
I still have to go back and play that. And
it may-
I think this might be a closer battle for me post that situation, but
Mhm.
but yeah, for me right now it has to be Witcher.
I'm gonna vote for 15, even though I know it's not gonna win.
It's
Because I
close
did
right
like
now.
I did like all the changes that the Royal Edition made, to be honest. The only thing for me is I actually really like Witcher, but when it's come down to it, I think I just really like Hearts of Stone. I think that's what it really comes down to. I just really enjoyed that DLC. The base game actually kind of like I don't remember much, but I remember almost everything about Heart of Stone.
Yeah, it's so great.
Hearthstone is so fantastic. Even more
Next up.
Blood and Wine.
We have Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice versus Hollow Knights. Hollow Knight.
Oof. I don't know.
This one's actually pretty easy for me. Hollow Knight.
I like Hollow Knight, but
I like
Hellblade
the-
from
I like
Go
the
for it,
experimentation of what Hellblade was. The project of Hellblade was just a phenomenal all the way through project.
Yeah.
But again,
Oh.
Hollow Knight the same way too.
Oh
But
no, you guys don't do this to me. Oh, how can you do this?
it just sucks though. Like I don't feel like Hellblade 2 is gonna have that same edge.
I don't think so either. I don't
No,
think
you know
Hellblade
what I'm
2 is going to
saying?
be near as
Not.
good as the first game.
Like, well, because like Hellblade was that we're gonna make a AAA graphics title game, but with a AA budget, and like I just don't feel like that's what Hellblade 2 is gonna have. It's just gonna be like it's everything thrown at the wall. And I think it's gonna lose like part of the charm because of that in a way.
Yep.
Like it's still gonna be a good game, but it's just gonna be like, oh, cool.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think it'll be a
Yeah.
fine game.
I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. I'm just saying like, it's not going to have like that slight edge that it had. You know.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
I'm still super worried how that game's going to be, considering how much they still haven't shown of that game.
I still think that's their Killzone 2 moment. I honestly do.
We'll see. We shall see. Moving on. We got 2 more battles left. Number 15 of the night. God of War versus Horizon Zero Dawn.
This is
2 huge PlayStation first-party titles, but come on.
Yeah, it's God of War.
I mean, I love Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm sure I'm going to love... That's not the truth, My Dark Passenger. That's not the truth at all. I'm just very opinionated when it comes to that type of stuff. But no, when Horizon Forbidden West, I think is going to be the better game. I think for sure out of the Horizon franchise.
I agree. I think so too.
God of War, that reboot, that had everything going against it, and they pulled it off. They did it, and that's what makes that project so amazing. Everyone's like, Kratos? How are you gonna make us care about Kratos? Man, he's getting it, and it's just like, yeah, everyone's crying. You know, everyone's crying.
Yeah, without a doubt, that game is just. I was watching looking at screenshots of it recently with the 4K update, 60 FPS. I'm like, oh my god, the game is unbelievable looking, unbelievable.
I still love that Stranger fight. I still boot that game up just to do the Stranger fight because I'm always floored by it every single time.
Yeah, man.
Just oh my god.
I'm going to play it again before the next one comes out. I'm streaming my replay through of that game.
Yep.
God of War wins, moves on to round number 3, and the final battle of the evening for round number 2. We're narrowing it down to 16. And the battle is Dark Souls 3 versus Nier Automata.
Yoko Taro takes it.
Yeah. It's
Vote again, Vince. I think you might have been a little bit late.
Yeah, I was a little bit early. I saw that. Thank you, though.
Or early, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Yoko.
I'm going to abstain from this.
That's fine. I think you're like, again, I like Dark Souls 3. I love the music of Dark Souls 3. Music of Dark Souls 3 is phenomenal.
Right.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
But like even some of the graphic direction behind it is actually really good. I remember taking some photos of that first opening air. I was like, wow. You know, the franchise was never known for its graphic asset, and it was like, oof, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Nier's a cut above, in my opinion.
It's close.
Vince knows we become as gods.
Yes, we become as gods.
With just one vote, could become a tie.
Hell of a.
Is it over?
It's such an experience, man. Like, it's one of those games where you can't describe that game to somebody. Like, you have to tell them you have to play this. You have to experience it for yourself, because anything I tell you about it, it's not going to do it any justice.
There you have it. That is round number 2 of this tournament. Let me say here, our top 16 games of the decade. Moving on. The Last of Us, The Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Last of Us Part 2, Batman Arkham City, Journey, Bloodborne, Gone Home, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, What Remains of Edith Finch, Titanfall 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, God of War, and Nier Automata. Interesting collection of games there.
It's a very solid
list.
And
I'm really upset that we have a God of War versus Nier Automata fight happening.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, man. God of War is definitely taking that one. Come on, God of War's got to take that. But it's getting interesting. It's getting very interesting, I would say.
Yeah.
Battle.
All valid choices, though, and all fantastic games.
Well, yeah, like you said, like once we're to this point, like the top 16 games of decade, you're talking about like 9s and 10s throughout, like pretty much is what you're talking about.
Right.
So anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to move pretty quickly tonight. Let me fix one thing here. We have our speed run, as I'm about to animate for you all. And for this speed run, we have 19 stories, and I'm going to give us 23 minutes. I think we're going to be able to beat that pretty handily, but
yeah,
I'm going to give us 23 minutes on this one, starting right now.
Yeah.
So first up, we have a delay watch for you guys.
Aww.
Returnal has been delayed, you guys, but it's a small delay. In order to give the team extra time to continue to polish the game to the level of quality players expect from Housemarque, They have delayed the game to April. What do you know what it is, Vince? April something?
30th.
30th.
April 30th.
Good.
It's gonna be okay, guys. They need it.
Great.
They
do it.
Whatever they need
Amazing.
to do, right? Just do it. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
After that, we got Prince of Persia remake. This one's an indefinite delay, though. Extra development time will enable our teams to deliver a remake that feels fresh while remaining faithful to the original. I think they saw that feedback after that first trailer and were like, yeah, we got to do something about this because, I don't know, that looked pretty janky.
That's throwing 2 more teams on that game to pass through it real quick.
Oops, sorry, wrong one. That's for BlizzCon coming up, but you guys can answer it anyway. Are you guys disappointed in either of these delays at all?
No,
Nope.
I'm fine with it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Prince of Persia, like, yes. After seeing how it looked, it's like, no, you need some more time in the oven there, bud.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm always in favor of, if you got to push it back an extra 2 or 3 months to just give it the polish that it needs, do it.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'd rather you do that than I have to sit through 3 or 4 patches.
Agreed. Moving on, let's go over to BlizzCon. You guys can answer the poll in the chat. Which are you most excited for? Because we had Diablo 2 Resurrected, we had Diablo 4 with a Rogue trailer, and we had Overwatch 2 behind the scenes. I was kind of hoping Mike would be here for Overwatch 2. But what do you guys think of BlizzCon? It's a little bit light this year. Obviously, COVID affected things, but a lot of positivity specifically for Diablo 2 Resurrected I saw, and I thought the Rogue trailer for Diablo 4 looked pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
myself.
Real quick, Diablo 2 Resurrected by Vicarious Visions. So I'm really excited by that because I mean that's a competent team doing that. It's not a Warcraft 3 situation, we hope. Plus with the whole crossplay stuff. The Diablo 4 Rogue trailer, I was like, finally, that's a character I want to play in 4. That's at least the character I would like to play if they don't give me my monk class.
Now, I've
And I
never played
love the art
Diablo.
style.
Are they as heavy in the other games on story as they are in this one, with these cutscenes and everything, or is this kind of new to the franchise?
This is kind of new to the franchise. 3 had the issue of the villains just telepathic cell phone calling you the entire time, saying ha ha ha, this is my plan. Rah. Whereas 2 was much more you didn't even know until you kind of stumbled upon the boss, and then you just kind of got story development. So they seem to really be going for this very heavy emphasis on set piece moments for 4, which I think is actually going to turn out very well for them.
Cool.
But we'll see what happens.
Did you guys watch the behind the scenes on Overwatch 2?
Nah, because I really don't care. It's not coming out until 2023.
Tom, you play Overwatch, right?
I do.
What do you think of Overwatch 2? What they're doing with it?
Look, to me, and like I was alluding to before with the Destruction All-Stars, I think it's great that they're doing all these story PvE things. I think that's the main thing that was missing from Overwatch 1 in that package. Because they had the little seasonal events every once in a while where they gave you PvE little things to do. First, it was just a little mini game, but then they started giving you actual missions. I think the fact that they are having a much more increased focus on doing PvE in this one and giving you those story missions, I think is going to elevate this package into being much more than what it was previously. I'm excited for Overwatch 2.
Very nice. Moving on to another recap here. We had the Nintendo Direct this week. Overall, I think a lot of people are very disappointed in the showing. I actually narrowed it down from the 30-something games they showed to just 6 because really this is all that I cared about, and even that's a stretch. Pyrrha and Mithra come to Smash Bros. Ultimate, as you can see on screen right now. I thought the trailer was hilarious, how long it went on for before they kind of dropped it. I was like, wow, that's dirty, man. That's really dirty. Especially you're a Xenoblade fan thinking that you're about to get a sequel announced or some shit. And then they drop that it's just, not that it's just Smash Bros. Characters, but still that it was that sort of fake out. How'd you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, if I was a Xenoblade fan, I would be extremely pissed.
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, look, first of all, I play Smash 2, and then I would just be like, oh, great, another anime sword fighter. On top of the fact that I am not getting another Xenoblade game.
Yeah. I don't know. That and the designs bother me, and we talked about this a little bit. And I don't want to harp on it too much because I feel like I didn't really word my discussion on it appropriately. I think my issue with characters like her is it kind of falls into the trope too heavily for me. It's
yes.
Come on, it's just so obvious to me. There's nothing wrong with big busted women in games, obviously, but when there's such a pattern in anime games, and it's just the way that the shots are framed and everything, it's it's just cringy.
And the fact in Smash there's way too many anime sword fighters in that game.
Yeah, at this point, it really seems like it. We had Mario Golf up on screen for a moment there.
The true star of the Direct.
Yeah, that was actually looked really good. I liked a lot of what they showed there. Some new features, the speed running stuff I thought was really interesting how they added that in. So that actually looks promising. That's June 25th. Monster Hunter Rise had a trailer. That's coming March 26th. Project Triangle Strategy coming from the team that did Project Octopath Traveler. RPG from Square Enix.
I'm very interested in that.
Spiritual successor looks promising. There's a demo actually right now too if you guys want to check it out. That's coming 2022, so far away for a demo to come out now. But the big things are at the very end. A 1-2 punch, but also a little disappointing. We had Eiji Aonuma. Is that how you say his name? Eiji Aonuma? Am I right on that?
I think so, yeah.
Eiji Aonuma, I think is how you say his name, came out, the father of Zelda, and he's like, yeah, we're not showing Breath of the Wild 2 today, guys, but we do have Skyward Sword HD. And it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. It's one of the lower
very much
ranked.
We're not going to stop and get ice cream. We have ice cream at home.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that feels like.
I mean, like, today is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. Like, I honestly was expecting them to do something a little bigger than Skyward Sword HD at this Direct for that reason, like the reveal of gameplay for Breath of the Wild 2 or something like that. But it's coming July 16th. I think Skyward Sword is still a very good game. It's one of the lower ranked Zelda games. But
you're one of the few.
It's killing it on Amazon right now. I'll say that. The pre-orders are through the roof. And finally, Splatoon 3 coming 2022. What a weird freaking trailer for that, man. What was, like, I don't even know what they were trying to say with that trailer.
What they're trying to say is we're going to get in front of Perfect Dark and we're going to make our own environmental focused shooter.
Yeah, I guess people are into Splatoon, but I don't know. I didn't think that was a good way to close it myself. Moving on, though.
Of protecting our oceans in Splatoon.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We got some details, you guys. It includes all games with over 40 DLC. It's got a 4K HDR, overhauled visuals and enhanced performance, new models, shaders, FX, lighting, and DOF. Improved customization, including updates to Shepard's range of available skin tones, hairstyles, and makeup options. That means that FemShep is now available in all of the games. That's awesome. Weapons have been rebalanced, I should say, and a big one, huge one, better Mako controls. Thank the Lord. Aim assist with zoom snap, balance to weapons. M35 Mako is faster with improved physics, specifically in relation to that. Faster lifts and loading. You can actually skip the elevator stuff now if you want. Once it's loaded, you can either wait for the elevator to go there or you can click a button and skip that. Improved enemy and squad AI changes. Removal of class-based weapon restriction XP balance, so users can hit the game's cap without New Game Plus. Seems like people are very happy about that. More consistent autosave points. That's another huge one. Maybe the biggest one I heard is actually the autosave being improved. Improvements to some boss encounter battles. Reduced first aid cooldown. Reduction in minigames. And a new HUD. Although still very similar. It's just that they don't have it taking up so much of the screen now is really it. It seems like Mass Effect 1 is going to have a pretty major benefit from this. Based on what I'm reading. I hope. I pray to God.
I think a lot of people hope that.
Are you guys going to replay it? Are you guys going to play for the first time? What's happening with you guys?
I'm not playing it. No.
I might give it a shot when it inevitably goes down in price, but I'm not going out of my way to try and get this game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. No,
it's gonna finally happen for me, guys. I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. Moving on.
You're doing it, Peter.
Doing it. CD Projekt Red suffers a ransomware attack. CNET writes, CD Projekt Red, developers of Cyberpunk, revealed Tuesday its network was hacked and shared a ransom note left by the hackers on Twitter. So pretty much what happened was the source code for Cyberpunk, Witcher 3, and an unreleased version of Witcher 3, specifically spin-off card game of Gwent also, all got hacked. Source code was even released for Gwent specifically. They have not come to an agreement. I don't think they're trying to really negotiate with the hackers, as far as I understand.
Don't negotiate with terrorists. Yep.
Yeah. So it seems like this might be an attack based on what's happened recently, though. Almost like you reap what you sow type scenario. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, and I think it's killed Gwent. Like the actual standalone game, I think it's killed it.
Really?
From what I saw from metrics, because the source code's out. Hackers can do whatever they want with it now. So, I mean, your network stuff, there's a lot of complications. Don't get me wrong, I'm making this too simple. but like the game isn't secure anymore. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that really killed almost anything. I don't think I really see it being a big thing on Twitch anymore now.
Gwent, was it a big thing on Twitch?
It was that wasn't a big thing, but it was a decent thing. Where like they were doing like their sports pool for it, and I just think now it's just like that kind of like took the wind out of the entire thing for that game, from what I've seen. Just so everyone kind of gets that clear, that's more of what I've seen. That's not like an actual actual factual statement.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a decent card game community on Twitch, and Gwent was definitely up there. And like Vince said, now that the game's very much not secure, there's no way that thing's going to be even viable to play. It's going to be like trying to play Modern Warfare 2 now.
Yeah. Moving on, we have a little bit of sad news, but I did want to talk about it briefly. Resident Evil 8 actress has passed away at 39. Her name is Jeanette Mouse, and she plays one of the witches, it looks like, or vampires in Resident Evil 8. She had an 8-month battle with colon cancer, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a real shame.
Yeah.
I think she is the witch that you encounter in the demo, and she's really good, really good, on edge.
It's a real shame there.
But yeah, just another thing. Get regular checkups, everybody.
Yeah.
Ninja Theory
let this be a lesson.
Will no longer produce content for Bleeding Edge. Now focusing on new projects like Senua Saga, Project Mara, and the Insight Project, but note that Bleeding Edge will still remain playable on Xbox and PC. This game never took off. It went down to 30 concurrent players in the last couple months. Like this, this just did not work out for them whatsoever.
This was a Game Pass failure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think is evidence of Game Pass going wrong. Like this is what I think is the fear of Game Pass, where you get a lot of stuff like this where it's made for Game Pass for that reason of like, it's just this like thing they're throwing together to get on there to bolster up Game Pass. And it's not good. It's not great. It doesn't have support and it doesn't stick around. And I think that's what Bleeding Edge ultimately came out to be.
It's one of those games that was just born to die.
Yeah. Yep, seems like it. Last of Us Part 2 has more Game of the Year awards than any other game in history. 283 as of the time I wrote this. Total Game of the Year awards, 180 of those critic, 103 of those reader awards. The Witcher 3 was the previous with 260 with 172 critic and 88 reader. So it is probably even higher than that now at this point. It's the clear winner for overall awards of all time. Way to go, Last of Us Part 2. Moving on from that, G4 confirms the revivals of X-Play and Attack of the Show.
All right.
You guys excited for this at all?
I'm excited. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't seen any crew calls for either of those. So I don't think they're taping it out of New York, unfortunately. They're probably doing it out in LA.
We heard you. The Legend returns summer 2021. We never stopped playing. Adam Sessler and Kevin Pereira confirmed to be coming back. So I know some people don't quite like those people, but they are coming back. Moving on.
I think the hate on Sessler and Pereira is it's over the top. They're both very fine individuals. I don't think there's anything wrong.
They've had a couple of problems, but
right.
I don't really have a problem with them myself. Ubisoft has changed their Twitter handle to @MarioRabbids. New game incoming? ?
I would hope
Probably,
so.
Right? I would think. Why would you change your Twitter handle if not?
Plus, I love that on my Switch. Played too much. I played so many hours of that game.
Did you really?
I love the Freudian slip there was I played too much.
I played too much. Well, I have a weakness for some XCOM style games, and with that being on the go, that was bad. I was taking that to work for lunch breaks at points. I was like, I need to stop doing this.
I remember loving the reveal of it specifically with Miyamoto coming out on stage. That was really charming reveal at that time. Continuing on with more Ubisoft stuff, they intend to move away from a reliance on AAA releases. Quote, we said for a number of years that our normal template is to come with either 3 or 4 AAA games, so we'll stick to that plan for fiscal year 2022, but we see that we are continuously moving from a model that used to be only focused on AAA releases to a model where we have a combination of strong releases from AAA and strong back catalog dynamics, but also complementing our program of new releases for free-to-play and other premium experiences. Go back to UbiArt, you cowards!
Well, what this really truly means to me is, us trying to get out 5 games a year isn't working, even though we said that last year. So we're reiterating that again. And it's also the reason why like the Vision 2 was all supposed to be done with their content update, and they all of a sudden were like, hey, guess what? We're still making stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird move. They need to go back to much more smaller releases and let like their games of service like Division 2 and other games, Siege.
Prince of Persia should have been a UBR game. They should do it back to UBR with Rayman and all those things. They should get that back. I love the UBR engine. But moving on, you talked about Vicarious Visions earlier, working on Diablo 2. Well, they've actually merged into Blizzard now at this point. So the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 studio, 200 people. They are now fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games and initiatives. Some people a little bummed about this news, actually, because they feel like they've lost Vicarious Visions from working on things like Crash Bandicoot and Tony Hawk.
That's actually the problem. That actually is a thing. They will not be working on projects like that. They are working as a dedicated support wing studio to Blizzard. So that means WoW, Diablo, and Overwatch. They are working on that Trinity or Hearthstone. They're working on that type of stuff, and they are a support wing for programming, art development, all type of stuff.
Interesting. Hopefully they have a good team that they're building up to handle those other franchises. Guys, Bungie is expanding. They had an 84,000 square foot headquarters before. It is now going to be 208,000 square feet, estimated to be completed by fall of 2022. Commitment to the long-term development of Destiny 2, but they also have some new IPs in development. Vince, you were telling me about one that's a little bit more Lord of the Rings-esque, actually, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's Lord of the Rings-esque, but we do know it is considered a whimsical looter, and it's definitely much more of a medieval type thing. It's part of their whole development project. High fantasy. It's their part of their whole development commitment with NetEase. I'm sorry. And the other thing too, it's weird about Destiny 2 because Destiny 2 has been pretty much talked about how they're going to be done with that in next year by this time. So we'll be curious to see what they mean by that.
Yeah, for sure.
Bring back Oni, you cowards.
I want to see Bungie outside of Destiny, though. I do want to see Bungie outside of Destiny at this point. Vince, good news, maybe. Yes. Death Stranding Extended Edition is rumored. Navtra, very reliable insider on Resetera, says, quote, even if there's an upgrade path, I think it will be paid since there's new story content in this version.
Probably some good cut stuff. I mean, like, I have the art book, and there was a decent amount that was cut from that game.
Yeah,
so
it seems like it. I was kind of bummed that we didn't get more info on Sam's wife and things like that. And the actual like cutscenes and things.
The true thing that I'm most excited for would just be if it's a full DualSense upgrade, because I think that game is made for the DualSense.
I agree with that for sure. ZeniMax is not actually under Microsoft Game Studios. IGN writes, legal documents indicate that Microsoft intends to create a new wholly owned subsidiary called Vault to complete its ZeniMax media acquisition. So technically they are not under Microsoft Game Studios and they're under that, like their own little division. And it makes me wonder, like, what does that mean for their future if, you know, maybe things aren't going that well? Is this, I don't know, like the logistics here, like the legal stuff. Like, does this allow for them contractually potentially to have like an out? Like, oh, we're not under you or under Vaults, and like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's kind of interesting. And this does happen a lot from what I understand, where they create a subsidiary to like absorb the acquisition. But seeing that visual of them not under Microsoft Game Studios was kind of, I don't know if the word would be.
I think it actually makes it easier for them if they ever need to divest the business from themselves.
Yeah,
it makes it much more of a clean cut to do that. As well as it potentially opens them up if they ever decide to just get rid of Xbox consoles. This is another way to get around having to say, oh, Microsoft Game Studios on any Bethesda game in the future that they might want to put onto Sony PlayStation or throw onto Nintendo or some other platform.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder about like the control that ZeniMax will still have over their properties. Like if they want to put Elder Scrolls on PS5, does this have anything to do with the amount of control that they still have? I doubt it.
They have some sort of autonomy from them.
Maybe.
Like they're not saying that they're like super on there, but again, like who knows how true that is.
Yeah, they apparently walked back on that a couple weeks ago to where like they were like, yeah, we're going to be more absorbing on what they're doing and stuff like that. And apparently when they closed this deal out, they were like, we're going to show you all our big plans that we got for everyone involved. So I honestly think they are 100% controlled by Microsoft.
We're not going to make the speedrun, I don't think. Vendor Beats Jeff Grubb actually did add on to this, saying that they're going to have a direct style event. Once this acquisition is fully complete, they're going to have an event dedicated to ZeniMax and all their different studios. Maybe we're going to finally get Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield, probably Starfield. So look forward to that in the next couple of months, I would imagine. Moving on, Bloober team is working on a horror IP with a, quote, very famous publisher, quote, in fact, we've been working on for more than a year on another gaming project, another horror IP, and we're doing this with a very famous gaming publisher. I can't tell you who, I can't tell you what the project is, but I'm pretty sure when people realize we're working on it, they will be very excited. Here's what I'm going to say to that. If it turns out to be Silent Hill, I am not excited. I don't want you working on Silent Hill.
Yeah, neither do I.
If it's Silent Hill, no.
I think the likelihood is if they're working on Silent Hill, there's 2 Silent Hill games coming. There's one from Sony Japan and there's one from Bloober.
Let's throw it out there. Clock Tower.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Bring that back around. Yeah.
What about Fatal Frame?
Yeah, those are the kind of ones, I think that would be cool. Bring those back around. Dino Crisis.
Oh my,
no.
Do not do that to me. Drew, you
Does that
take that
count?
back right now. You take that back
sorry,
right
I'm
now.
sorry.
I am still waiting on Dino Crisis on the RE engine. I need that so
Do
hard.
not put that curse on me, Drew.
Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox is not high priority right now. Washington Post writes, in a video call interview with Washington Post, Yoshida said, quote, Final Fantasy XIV may never end as long as people keep returning, so it has at least 5 more years, supposedly. He also went on to say, with response to Xbox, we provide content on a fairly regular basis, and our cycle is rather condensed, and it is a fairly stable cadence that we continue to follow. We have to think about long-term planning with additional platforms. We need additional testing for that particular platform, so kind of exponentially grows the amount of resources that need to be allocated. So he was kind of saying, like, right now we don't have the resources to do it. Like, we're focused.
Well, especially with Endwalker, no, they're not going to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in 2 years, but it's after the Zodiac saga of 14 is completely finished, to where it's like, okay, we can breathe for a minute. That's because what they've been kind of doing right now. Since Heaven's Sword and Stormblood, they've been doing expansions, I think, almost like every other year or something like that. It's been pretty consistent.
We could do this. We got a minute left. We could do this. Rumor, Call of Duty 2021 is set during World War II. This comes from a reliable leaker, Victor Z. It also
this man
tweeted out the hammer emoji with it as well, meaning that it's going to be Sledgehammer that works on this World War II game. Not happy, Tom, huh?
No, let's get away from World War II, please. Let's stick in the modern era.
Modern
We're
era,
done.
not
We're
advanced.
done.
Modern.
We don't need to go back. We can stay in
We
the
have to
modern
go
era.
back. No.
We're gonna go back.
No. What about you, Vince? You care about this at all?
No.
No. I agree. I'm kind of past even the visuals of World War II. Just like, I don't want to see it anymore. So I agree with you there. 30 seconds. NVIDIA might refresh the 3000 series entirely to add anti-crypto mining driver. They're doing this with the 3060 Ti, and it sounds like they might just refresh the other ones too to try and curb this right now. Please.
Well, it's not dropping the price of Bitcoin right now, I can tell you that.
No, that's for sure. Damn sure. I'm doing real well right now in Bitcoin. I'm happy with it, but they do need to do this for multiple reasons. One of them being the environment. And that is it. We did it. Rapid fire news roundup. We did it with 1 second to go.
Yes.
Yes, we did it. Nailed it.
Yes.
That is the show tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode of Next Level Gamescast. If you enjoyed the show, please join us again live next month. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever we go live with game streams or talk shows. Make sure to follow Vince and Tom as well at their respective channels. They'll put their commands in the chats. They're great streamers. Please support those that support us. They do the show monthly with us, and it's a lot of work. You know, we get together every week talking about this, coming up with planning to figure out what the future of this is all going to be. So it's a lot of work. Give them that love, please. We're going to put this on YouTube, of course. It's always archived on YouTube. Same with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We've been doing the podcast there. Not getting a lot of traction just yet. So please check us out. At least give us a follow on either of those two. And maybe consider, on your ride to work or whatever, if you have a ride to work, listening in and maybe spreading it around for other people as well. Discord, as you saw tonight, very essential. Had a great mini game this week.
Super essential, friends.
Courtesy of They Call Me Denny. Loved it. I want to do more like that Jeopardy segment again. You can do that halftime hedge.
Fun.
You can do Sorry, NLG's Got Game. You can do halftime hedge, as Tom mentioned earlier. Fake fans, if you actually want to call us out on something we got wrong, which I'm sure we did. How you reviewing, if you want to submit games that you want us to review in the critical cut of that segment. And don't forget, so you have a month left in season 1 to get that merch. Right now, we got February merch wrapping up in a week for the names of NLG. Next month is the faces of NLG, and also earning that SP to try and take that #1 spot away from Duroc, if it can possibly happen. You have a little bit of time left to get that done, so please do so. And lastly, Tom, we do have some major shout outs.
That's right, Drew. We must thank those who go above and beyond to support this show and make it possible. Our producers supporting at $25 and above, either here on Twitch or on Patreon. They are Agent Vincent 4756. Hey, he's a handsome fellow.
Thank you, Vince.
Baz 023S and Duroc 11. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. And please, if you would like to be a producer of this show, please go ahead and pledge $25 or more, either here on Twitch or on our Patreon.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. That is a wrap, everybody. Season 1, Episode 2 of Next Level Gamescast. Another one down and many, many more to go. But it is not over yet, Snake. It's not over yet! We have one more level. Each episode of Next Level Gamescast ends with a final word I took last month, and I'm actually going to take this month as well. It's going to be short and sweet. I don't have a lot to say, except one thing. Guys, this is not the only talk show that we do on this channel.
No.
Vince just recently joined me on another talk show that I do here called The Lights Up Show, entirely dedicated to movies and television. And we had a great show, right, Vince?
We did. It was a great show.
It's a good show, isn't it? Don't you think more people should watch The Lights Up show, Vince?
Absolutely. And
And
I
that's
don't know
not all.
much about television. This guy does, though.
I absolutely love movies and television. I've been watching a lot recently. Lights Up always gets me back into that mode where I try to watch things so I can talk about it. And having a month in between episodes is great for that reason. But that's not the only reason you guys should be a part of the first Saturday of every month, because that's when the Lights Up show airs. The first Saturday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. After the show ends, it's about an hour and a half show. It's tighter than the Next Level Gamescast. It's a tighter show, about an hour and a half. We jump on over to Discord and we do live watch-alongs of movies and TV shows. The first episode in January, we did Cobra Kai, and it was awesome. We had a great time with it. We only had 5 people join us that night.
Aww.
And then on February, recently, we did The Room drunk watch-along, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was one of my favorite streams, if you want to call it that. We had so much fun watching The Room. I got wasted. It was a great drinking game. We all took part in it. And that's the kind of things that we do. And you guys can get on our Discord. You can suggest movies and TV shows for us to watch on the watch-alongs after the Lights Up show every month, and become a part of that. And I'm going to say right now, since it has been sort of slow, we had 8 people for The Room, I believe. No more sub and patron needed for watch-alongs moving forward.
Wow.
Everybody's allowed. Let's get everybody. We need to get
Yes.
more people. We need to get more people taking part in these watch-alongs.
That's a
Just
good
hasn't
thing
been
that I'm
enough
not
yet.
joining in on those shows. Otherwise, we would have to have Tom's Weep Corner, and that nobody needs that.
Aww.
But I want to get more people involved with the Lights Up show. I really enjoy doing it. I've always enjoyed doing it. And I want it to become a staple of this channel in the same way that Next Level Gamecast now is, and the Level Up show once was. So please keep that in mind. I'm going to do one quick wheel spin for Dickie Boy, who came in with the follow and the sub tonight for Prime, which is amazing. Thank you so much for choosing us with your Prime sub, giving 100 SP to the entire room. And
Woo.
that does it. That is it. Everybody, thank you again for watching. We hope to see you back here next month, Season 1, Episode 3, when we take it to the next level. Let me give you the date on that right now. That will be on the 3rd Sunday of March, which is the 31st. Or sorry, 21st, I want to say. March.
I was going to say, that's
No, that's impossible. Yeah, March 21st will be the next episode of Next Level Gamescast. Mark your calendars, get on our Discord, take part in all of the segments, follow Vince and Tom, become a part of their communities as well, and we hope to see you next time. Until then, take care, and as always, don't forget to level up, everybody.